Of course I didn't watch it.
Holy I just realized something.
But it never is.
Okay. All of
that actually looks a lot like a JDAM. That's your epic reporting. Those are your epic sources, bro.
Yes. Wait, whoa. No, we're not moving on. Stop! No, I know that at the time, and still to this day, greatly favors that this was most likely another Israeli munition. I still think it's 90% that it's Israel. Yeah, so how about that? In the immediate moment after that, I have said...
the immediate moment after that.
Oh my Lord, dude. But here's the WillyMacShow. What's up, WillyMacShow?
Hey, what's up, Hasan?
Not much. So I am not very familiar with what you do, but I believe you've done a couple videos about how dog I am, I think, right? You want to turn on your camera, by the way?
I mean, I'm recording. I don't think I can at the same time.
I can't believe that of all the people he chose to debate on this topic, of all the people that he chose to debate on this topic, he fucking digs deep into the commentary community. What an actual debate ebevophile, okay?
The debate pedophiles are out in droves. Holy moly.
I can't believe that's like his... That's where he's looking to get his owns on. Like, unbelievable.
All right. So you...
Did you watch the videos?
No, of course not. I have a policy of not really watching videos such
that I give strong commentary on. At least Hasan's honest here. Actually, Hasan's probably not honest. Not only did he probably watch it offline, he probably had other people watch it and take notes for him so that he could be prepared for this conversation. But I guarantee you that Hasan has seen at least part of it, of course.
Which is that one specifically because it will frustrate me, and then I will have to.
You want to debate about a video you didn't even watch?
Why? Yeah, of course. You made the video. I'm not like debating a random person about a video I didn't watch. You made the video, so let's hear.
I know, but that kind of like that kind of links up to like my big criticism with you, is that you don't actually put in the bare minimum effort to research anything before you jump to conclusions. That's why your tweet when you're like, "Hey, I want to debate Willy."
Do you really consider me watching a fucking dumb YouTube video from a drama farming channel to be doing research? I don't need to do research
this is what you're
on a video.
About. You're going into a topic you don't know anything about.
Brother,
true, yeah.
Just give me what you want to say. Give me what you want to say. The video's about me, isn't it?
Yeah,
so talk to me about what the points of the video are and let's discuss it. The do you mean?
My main...
This is such a like arrogant, weird thing. How long even is the video that was made on him? Was it what, 30, 40 minutes? Was it longer than that?
Why would I have to research a video about myself? Like,
why would I? Oh my God. WillyMacShow Hasan video. People are saying anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour. How can you guys all be... Hasan's horrible response on his radicalized audience. Is it this? Or is it Hasan the worst... Oh, there were two videos. Okay.
Oh man, I can't believe I have to watch.
I have no doubt you didn't.
I have to watch a fucking dumbass talk shit for 25 minutes. And
also, how fucking awkward is it? Does Hasan do this often, where he brings somebody to his house and they're just like sitting here in the background while he's like debating and screaming at people, like
jerk off like all the talking points that I've heard about myself over and over again? Incredibly stupid. Give me the fucking takes and we'll talk about it.
My take is that you have a pattern of behavior where breaking news happens, you jump to wild conclusions talking way too confidently.
Okay.
To be fair, you do this too sometimes. Person will come on and say, did you watch X? And you respond, just tell me the important points. I'm not going to watch some random video for you. Hold on. Have I said that to the creator of a video? I feel like if somebody's coming on to discuss their video, don't I always watch the video first? Why would you compare those two things? Well, yeah, there are probably times when people come on and like, oh, did you watch XYZ video? And I'm like, no, I haven't seen this. Like, just summarize it for me. But have I said that to a person who's made a video? Like, okay. I'm sure it's probably happened at least once, but I mean, I feel like generally.
Okay, give me an example.
Who disagrees with
example.
You.
Give me an example.
All right,
are you going to talk about... Okay.
There was reports that Ukraine was going to be invaded by Russia. You confidently said, no, it wasn't, despite all the reports. Then Russia invades. And then instead of apologizing and correcting the story, you then...
Wait, I didn't apologize and correct the story?
You justify the invasion.
Wait,
right?
I didn't apologize and correct the story?
Let me finish my...
Wait, hold on. No, this is important.
This is the pattern of behavior.
Because you said you... Wait, hold on. You're the one who doesn't do his research, because I did apologize and I did correct the record. You just didn't see it.
You kind of walked it back too.
Wait, no. I very clearly apologized for it. You didn't see that because all you do is look at fucking clips.
It's in the video. It's in one of my videos.
So why did you just now bring it up as though I've never apologized?
Oh, this is so like Hasan. And then
the reality is, I think Hasan did kind of sort of like mini apologize, but it was, I'm pretty sure it was like, I think Willy has the order of events right here. He denied it. He made literal Snapchat videos like bragging about like, oh, day 12, no Russian invasion, blah, 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 blah.
What's up, folks? I'm live and alive, and we got a lot to talk about. I was right about Ukraine. That's right. War is not imminent. Oh, shocked to find out. Anyway, we're going to talk about that and a bunch of other stuff, so get in now. Possibly a new React series as well, so you don't want to miss it.
I think maybe I'll tell my editors to do this, but I think I'll just change I'll change this every day to Ukraine has still not been invaded by Russia every day to make sure that the wishes of these weirdo, like, I'm actually a sock them and you're a fucking tanky idiots on the internet. Will, yeah, change it to Russia still has yet to invade Ukraine. And it's like day 11 at this point, you know what I mean?
Then it happened, and then I think as it happened, he was either justifying it or downplaying it, and then after a while, then he was like, yeah, okay, yeah, they did this, or I got this thing wrong, or whatever, right? But it was, I'm pretty sure it was after all of that. Willy might have it in his video. That's my recollection. But yeah, but now Hasan is doing it's a debate tactic. He's trying to hinge on the one least important part, right? Like yesterday, I saw you walk into a nursery and murder 15 babies and come out walking in a red t-shirt. Wait. Oh, a t-shirt? Was it really? Did I really have a t-shirt on, bro? Like, well, okay, no, you killed, but no, bro. T-shirt, really? Like, that's the strategy, is to like find like the one least important part of the entire thing and then like hang your whole ass hat on that argument. Yeah, Illustrious Picks, thanks for the $19.99 donation, buddy.
And the worst part is when people call you out.
Why did you just bring that up? As I never apologized then.
See, and he's got it too. He knows what he's doing. This is like super ultra intentional, because the rest of it is really hard to excuse. The rest of it is pretty inexcusable, I think. Yeah.
Why did you just say
This is the Ukraine part.
Was wrong.
It's always wrong. Russia was deploying units across the Ukraine border. US intelligence said that they were going to invade, but Hasan and his intelligence team of absolutely no one says no.
And we got a lot to talk about. I was right about Ukraine. That's right. War is not imminent. Oh, shocked.
I think maybe I'll tell my editors to do this, but I think I'll just change I'll change this every day to Ukraine has still not been invaded by Russia every day. Change it to Russia still has yet to invade Ukraine. And it's like day 11 at this point, you know what I mean?
He'd post J-Station memes making fun of people worried about the imminent invasion, and when his completely arrogant and baseless predictions would be proven wrong, he'd go on and make more arrogant and baseless predictions.
The reason why I'm saying a lot of the information that's coming out of the State Department is wrong or outright false is because what I'm showing you right now is literally people talking about like bombing Kiev. That is insane. That's psychotic.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I think that
nothing has been worse than his coverage of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. He sells himself as an on-the-ground.
But now he's trying to hang his whole ass hat on this idea that maybe at one point he might have apologized. How did he fuck up so badly? Remember, don't use complicated analysis, okay? All you have to do is the very, very simple analysis of America bad. Remember, it was the United States that was publicly publishing information saying that Russia was going to invade. Well, obviously, the US is doing that because they're bad and they want to do propaganda and make Russia look bad. So America bad, therefore invasion fake, right? It's that simple, right?
You could just take the L Ukraine. Wait, no, that's not what I'm saying. America has already delivered the L to Ukraine, okay? That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying America needs to take the L.
Destiny, even funnier Kiev bombing take. Wait, what? Hold on, what is this?
Like, look like Tim Pool after that 49 state landslide? Yeah? I would look like Tim Pool after that 49 state landslide L if, you know, there was a active bombing currently happening on Kiev and like Ukrainians were being murdered left and right at this moment. I would be that way if America was like, we're going with a full-throated, this is a full-blown invasion, and yet it hasn't happened. At this point, I have a more aggressive stance on Russian troops inside of Ukrainian borders than the American State Department does.
Remember, the invasion was on the 24th, so this is literally 1 day before the invasion.
So how do you pair up with that? Well, America's literally like, they're doing a fucking W tour. They're like, yo, we're going to predict the misinformation to false flag. Dude, okay, solve it. Solve the problem. What the fuck are they going to do? Are they going to go in? Are they going to fucking fight back? Are they going to like actually fly planes into Ukraine? Are they going to send in the 6,000 troops at the fucking border of Ukraine? Non-believers like you was on.
Wow, Hardshot Tour, thanks for the 8 gifted subs.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they got this one fucking. They got this one. Okay. At this point, if you are in a position of fucking power, you had every opportunity to fucking exhaust diplomacy, instead of fucking endlessly being like, this is a war that's gonna happen. This is a war that's gonna happen. Okay, then try to solve it.
I don't want to second guess.
Just solve it, bro.
Is going to do next. That we know he's doing now, and you know.
You could just take the L Ukraine. Wait, no, that's not what I'm saying. America has already delivered the L to Ukraine. Okay, that's not what I'm saying at all.
You're such an inspiration. I debated in high school, but you never tried here on YouTube. Nice to see some other libcuck stand. Wow, thanks, Les.
I never apologized for it when I did.
Right? You claim that's all out of context.
Why did you say I never apologized?
See, again, that one. How many minutes are we going to spend on this one point?
Why did you just say I never apologized?
Justify more. You then make more outrageous claims.
I'm sorry. Why did you say I never apologized if I did, and you just repeated? You just repeated after I said, no, I did apologize. You moved the goalpost. You moved the goalpost, and you tried to fucking act like I was just backtracking.
I didn't move the goalpost, dude. This is exactly my criticism.
You did. Stop saying this is exactly my criticism. Okay, but then your criticism is fucking stupid.
Your apology is in there.
Okay,
you just didn't watch it, so you're just making shit up right now. That's what you're doing.
No, I'm going off of what you're saying.
Because you didn't watch the video because you don't research anything, which is the whole criticism.
Why would I watch a fucking stupid video that you made when I'm talking to you because the video is about me? You said with your words that I didn't actually apologize.
You're saying
you said with your words.
One thing that I wonder is that as Hasan's audience starts to kind of shrink and he has this inability to kind of like go to other places and look outwards, I wonder if he's feeling more pressure from people that are criticizing him, because it's kind of strange that he dug like this deep to debate this particular guy that made like a bad video on him. It was really weird a few weeks ago that he was like fighting with all of my orbiters on Twitter. That was like bizarre. I wonder if he's feeling like mounting pressure to respond to negative feedback of him or something like more than in the past.
That I did. Is this what you're going to talk over me when I'm giving you the answer?
No.
I'm giving you a very straightforward answer. I did do that.
Okay.
I did cover your apology.
So you said I did apologize, but it wasn't good enough for you. Is that what you're saying?
And I showed you apologizing for making your completely, like, fairly baseless claims, jumping to conclusions, and then you followed that up by making more baseless claims, jumping to conclusions.
Okay. Go on. What are the baseless claims that I made?
Oh yeah, liking negative tweets about me is like so bizarre too. Yeah, Jesus.
Jump to conclusions on, even though you originally said I said that Russia would never invade Ukraine, which is true. I did say that because I did think that it would be an unimaginably stupid decision for Russia, okay, which I claimed would be impossible to occupy Ukraine, a country with...
He's getting a ton of likes for his pro-Palestinian tweets, though. I think he's going to grow from this. I don't think so. I think that this is going to be like a pretty popular thing for people on the left right now, like because it's like current thing. But I think... like I said, I feel like I've seen enough on the internet, but who knows, we'll see. I feel like this has been a big like eye-opening moment for a lot of people where they're like, oh shit, like maybe like this like super progressive or like socialist commie shit is like a little bit more dark than we had originally realized. I feel like that's going to be the ultimate takeaway, because I feel like it's already happened quite a bit in a few different fan bases, but we'll see.
With 44 million people whose entire national independence movement has revolved around literally trying to escape from Russia for the most part, regardless of the Russian-speaking population in the Eastern Front, okay? Having said that, however,
this has nothing to do with what I said, though. This is all just random nonsense.
Yeah, because you're a fucking scumlord drama farmer. Of course it doesn't have anything to do with anything, because the specifics don't matter to you.
The specifics do matter.
Well, if they do, then when I describe...
Here, I got another one. Let's do this one, too.
There's an entire YouTube video called I Was Wrong About Ukraine. Like, there's literally...
in that same...
I wonder with that YouTube video, what is it actually like? Hasan, I was wrong about Ukraine. 430,000.
Wait, do you still think that the invasion isn't going to happen? Not trolling, just joining? I think that the peacekeeping mission is like literally that's it. That's overtaking Eastern Ukrainian territories. That's absolutely invasion. That is happening. I was wrong. I assumed that we could actually have diplomatic talks. I'm wrong. I was wrong. I did not even think that Russia would take over Eastern territories, and I was wrong. I think that if the reports are true, because there's been a lot of information that has been wrong, completely wrong, and there's still a lot of information that the Western State Department is pumping out by way of mainstream media about like Russia is going to go and overtake Kiev and they're going to go into Ukraine. But yes, this is earlier today.
Why are you bro, are you in any position to doubt anything the State Department says at this point? Why are you even trying to cast doubt on these things?
Vladimir Putin said that a couple days ago, the lower parliament in Russia voted to recognize Eastern Ukrainian territories that have some, not majority, but some Russian people living in it to be independent. This is a part of Russia's strategy in expanding into areas that it believes that has historical fucking territorial claims to. They claim there's Russians there. This is an independent area. We voted. We decided that this is an independent region. We recognize this as an independent region. And then they say there are Russian people there. We need to defend those Russian people. And then they will fucking push troops there to do peacekeeping missions. And it's basically just an annexation. Okay? Literal Lebensraum arguments. Goddamn. Wait, what? I'm not saying that's appropriate for the record. I'm not agreeing with that. So I don't know why people don't understand where I'm coming from. I disagree with that. I disagree with a Russian invasion of Ukrainian territories. I've said this time and time again.
Stefan Clark, $20. Thanks, buddy.
Crimea is different, but Eastern Ukrainian territories where Russians live is entirely separate from that conversation. You could say backpedal Andy all you fucking want, but that's because you are a brain-dead idiot who cannot comprehend that new information comes out that changes my analysis, okay? You aren't acknowledging that most of Donbass for the Minsk Treaty lines is held by Ukrainian forces, though, so if Russia goes in to support the separatist border claims, they will necessarily fight the Ukrainian forces there. No, I do recognize that, and that's precisely why I'm saying that is moving towards an act of fucking war. Do you have thoughts on how this might end? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Macron. We'll see what happens with the conversation between, you know.
Okay.
In video, you make more claims about.
Like what?
If I remember, I mean, this is a year ago.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I guess you didn't watch that either.
Like what? Of course I didn't watch it.
Holy shit. I just fucking realized something. Hasan's style of debate is actually identical to who? Does anybody know what his style of debate is identical to? One person. I'm waiting for one person to get it. Da Homer, you got it. Hasan's style of debate is identical to Lav's. This was how I would watch Lav run circles around people, where she'd argue with something where she was like pretty obviously incorrect, but if you didn't know every single factoid about the particular thing you were trying to attack her on, she'd be like, wait, really? Did I actually say that? Or did this actually happen in that time span? Or did it actually happen exactly like this? And if you didn't know exactly, she'd run circles around that particular point, and then you would look like you wouldn't know what you're talking about. You look like an idiot. This is Hasan is employing the exact same strategy here.
Why would I watch a fucking drama farmer who has no understanding of geopolitical conflict?
You're the one who asked for this debate, and now you're all confused and butthurt that you're getting up in it. Like, I don't know what to do.
I'm sorry. You fucking brainlet. Give me what the inconsistency was. You made the video. You made the video. Give me the inconsistency or what you consider to be false information. Are you having a hard time without a script or without people feeding you clips that you can post?
Pretty good, bro. Nobody's.
I love that accusation. Is Willy Mac even a streamer? Like, I don't think, does he even stream or is he only a YouTuber? Like, do people feed him clips or does he think that I'm like behind every single person that argues with him?
Let me anything.
Dude, you're killing it. You're killing it, dog. Come on, go ahead. What's the second point? What is the lie that I told about Ukraine?
It's not a lie. It's just you made more claims. You made more bases.
Like what? What is the claim?
I gotta go pull it up in the video because you didn't.
You didn't prepare for your own. You didn't prepare where you were literally coming on here to talk about not Israel-Palestine, mind you, but about Ukraine, and you didn't even prepare with talking points.
I'll talk
really?
to you about Israel-Palestine. That'll be the next point. It's you doing the same thing again. Well, dude, how do you impromptu ask me to a debate this minute? If I had a day to prepare, I would have everything, but you didn't. You just completely like you blew this.
Oh, that's true. Hasan was like, he won't even debate me, and after like 30 minutes, he accused him of like running away and shit. Holy.
It's your video about me. These should be so simple for you to be like, this is where you lied. Just say it. We already established that the first thing you did was wrong.
All right, you got to give me a minute.
Okay. Are you trying to link me your video? I'm not going to watch your video. Just say it with your mouth, with your words. Go ahead.
I have to watch my video to see what my receipt is because this is a year old. Right? I didn't know where. You
don't even know your own video. You don't know the contents of your own video.
I made it a year ago, bro.
You think you're doing a good job right now? Do you think you're doing a good job right now, defending your position? Like it's such a.
Wait, he made the video a year ago? Wait, what does that mean? Did he actually?
Wrong.
It's posted 2 weeks ago. I don't know how long it takes him to make videos. That's kind of.
Profound position. It's such a profound position that you don't even remember your own talking points. Oh my lord!
Dude, I'm trying to find your talking point.
This is the.
I'm trying to find your talking point.
I know.
my talking points that you claim are wrong should be, you know, in the chamber for you to fire off. You came on here because you thought, let's have a conversation about these fucking videos that I've made.
Do instantly right now. Right when I was out.
Stop complaining. Give me the talking points. Come on.
No, stop. Shift the goalposts around.
Stop complaining.
Oh, the Ukraine video is older. I think that's what he's saying. Okay.
Tell me what it was. Stop bitching. Tell me what it was. You started the conversation by talking about Ukraine. Why did you bring up Ukraine if you weren't ready to talk about it? Your first point that you brought up was that I never apologized for it. I debunked it within seconds.
Listed out. And all the receipts right here, but you said get on now, Willy No Show.
Okay, go ahead. Come on, Willy No Show. Come on. What's the second talking point?
Yelling in my ear while I'm pulling up the receipt.
Willy No Show. Give me the second talking point. If you're not this passionate about the subject, then you're basically admitting that you're a bottom-feeding drama farmer who has no interest in.
Like you're just gonna look retarded because I'm gonna pull it up in my when I make my video.
Pull it up. Then pull it up. Stop complaining about it after the fact. Go ahead. I'm here. All right now. If you are genuinely interested in truth and research or whatever, you have this wonderful opportunity. You have this wonderful opportunity to ask me personally.
To pull it up. I'm trying to listen, but I'm hearing you twice. Once from my video and once from you just bitching in my ear.
Oh my god!
So you gotta wait. Yeah, that's how
this is the greatest. This is the greatest brain power we got, folks.
You want me to just move on from this?
All right, I'm muting myself. I'm muting myself. Go ahead, watch your video, and then you can come back. Okay. Holy moly, dude! Jeez, Lord mercy. I muted myself. He can't hear me, so he can find his own talking points in his own videos. Jesus Christ.
It's so crazy that this is the guy that accuses people of like debate pervertry, but like you can tell he loves engaging in all of this dog shit, like debate. Like this is, oh, the turnaround is so infuriating because like all of Hasan's fans accuse me of doing stuff like this. Like, do you know how annoying that is? All of his fans think that all of my debates look exactly like this. And then they walk around saying this, like, oh yeah, like I learned from Hasan that debate is pointless. Yeah, because Hasan is a shitty debater and he does debate strategy bullshit like this. Like this is all like rhetoric and stupid shit. Like that's all he's doing. So, but yeah, to externalize it on me, like why?
Nice, dude.
I didn't even get to any of my moderator questions.
I know. Every time Felix is here, we got to do a fucking, we have to have the conversations like this. It just has to happen. I love that he's like, I don't remember my talking points. I have to watch my own YouTube video.
Well,
Hold on, you don't believe Hasan is a shitty debater, do you? I mean, I think he's good at debating and that he like knows like debate strategy. The same way that I would say like a really good fighter is somebody that brings like a knife to a street fight. But I mean, like he's not like a good debater in that he's like an intelligent person that can coherently put together like a deductive set of syllogisms to produce like, you know, valid argumentation or something. He's not like that type of debater. He's just a guy that like he knows his niche. He plays into it really hardcore, and then that's the only area that he'll lean on, and then he'll say at the same time like, oh, I don't like debate, blah 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 blah. Like that's all
right, I got it.
All right, he's got it. All right, let's hear it.
I got it.
All right. Thank you,
yeah,
Willy Mac No Show.
Was you said people? You said let me watch this one more time.
Bro,
it was in your video. I was wrong about Ukraine. And you said people are acting like Kiev's getting bombed, like that would never happen, and then it's literally did happen.
Okay.
So you're just again making more base. You're making your apology video about being wrong and making baseless claims that you know nothing about.
This is your take.
Wrong. It's a pattern of behavior.
This is your take from February 22nd, 2022.
Yeah.
Another thing that I was
again. You've done it since then.
I've done it since then. People are acting like Kiev's getting bombed. It did happen. You're right about that. Do you think that I didn't cover? Wait, hold on. Do you think that I didn't cover Kiev getting bombed? Like I hid that or something?
No, you did, but it's your accusation saying it doesn't, saying it won't happen. There's no way it'll happen.
Yeah. Do you think that bombing Kiev specifically, well, it was what Russia did? Do you think that was a good thing for Russia to do?
What is this? What is this question? Oh shit! How did he get so sidetracked here? What?
I didn't say.
Do you think that it was a thing? Do you have any genuine opinions?
Think it was a good thing.
Do you have any genuine opinions about
my opinion
Russia's
is that was
involvement
bad.
in the Ukraine?
My opinion on that is that you shouldn't be talking about shit.
Brother, hold up. We're having a conversation about Ukraine and Russia. We're having a conversation about Ukraine and Russia, and I'm asking you a specific question. I'm asking you a specific question.
My conversation's about you because my videos are about you and your pattern of behavior and your poor reporting, and now you're trying to shift it all these other ways because you know you can't face the truth.
Russia had not bombed Kiev at the time. That's number one. Number two, of course, as soon as that did happen, I covered it. Of course I did, because that's what I'm doing.
The criticism isn't that you didn't cover it. The criticism is that you're making baseless claims you don't know anything about, talking so confidently, as if you got a whole research team behind you. When you don't, you're talking out your ass. This is the
brother. Do you have a whole research team behind you? Because you're not
me. I actually did research just now, and you could barely be patient enough to sit there and listen through it. You got to go ahead and
it's a video. You made a video a year ago about me talking about like my opinion on Russia and Ukraine. You personally do not have an opinion on Russia or Ukraine at all. I have taken accountability on my. I've taken accountability on the things that I've reported wrong.
You should do the research. If I'm not willing to,
I have taken accountability on the things that I have reported wrong on.
Wars when you can't do the
Willy no script. Listen to me. I've taken accountability on the things that I have said that are incorrect. Of course, on the editorial perspective, on the editorial side of my coverage, okay, on the editorial side of my coverage, if I make a prediction or a speculation, it can sometimes be wrong. That speculation is always going to be on foundational analysis that is solid.
I got another one too.
Foundational analysis that is solid. Modern Republican 499. Before this debate, while Hasan was tweeting Willy, he was like, "Oh, my Jewish friend can moderate me and Willy, two non-Jews debating on Israel." Okay.
I got just more examples.
Do you have an issue with do you have an issue with my analysis of the situation? Because I can't possibly do research on things that haven't happened yet. I can simply speculate.
Just make it up.
And this entire
oh my god, I just realized this stupid bro, like I said, one day I could literally, my opinion on Hasan would fucking 180. If he came out one day and he was like, "You retards. Obviously, I've been trolling the whole time. Did I not give it away when I was sitting inside my multi-million-dollar mansion next to my popular millionaire friend, as me, a millionaire, was sitting on my stream with a giant sweater saying capitalism is voluntary? You didn't realize I was trolling the whole time? I'd be like, you know what, Hasan? You fucking got us, okay? It was funny. It was a good one. I'll give you props for that. I would give him props for that.
Do you think when I say, guys, I don't think that Russia will bomb Kyiv is actually... in your opinion, like me making up something, or you're speculation?
No, the clip is actually you talking really condescendingly about people who think that could happen. That's the clip.
Okay, but you're, yeah, okay. You don't. Yeah, so is this all just tone policing? Is that what it is?
You're talking about?
Is this all? So all of this is just you personally tone policing the way I'm covering the fucking news? No, it's not tone policing.
It's about your.
Do you have any genuine interest or any curiosity in like Russia and Ukraine at all? Or
I like how Willy is clearly not like a geopolitical commentator. Like, I doubt that Willy follows a bunch of foreign policy, but that's not what Willy's video was on. It was about the irresponsibility and f***upness of Hasan's reporting. And Hasan is trying to, like, change this into, like, can we talk about some sort of conflict that I know more about than you, so I can just, like, overwhelm you with facts, even though Willy's not even necessarily disagreeing. Notice how that's what Hasan keeps trying to pull the conversation. What do you think about Russia invading Ukraine? What do you think about them bombing Kyiv? Do you think that was a good idea? Do you have opinions on this conflict? Like, he's trying to, like, pull him into that area so they can beat him down with just, like, a gish gallop of a bunch of random shit, basically.
Or is all you do drama farming off of clips? Because over the course of this entire conflict, I've dedicated tens or hundreds of hours into my coverage.
Oh, people keep asking me, do you think Hasan's like fan base is shrinking or whatever? Yeah, of course it is, and he knows it as well. I think he's dipped almost what 10,000 average viewers, maybe, probably around anywhere from 5 to 10,000, depending on how you, what time period you do that over the last year. Yeah, he's dipped pretty significantly. I think he might have dipped last year too. Yeah, a little bit, not as much, but yeah. I'm pretty sure he's like feeling pressure on stuff like this. He's actually lost followers recently. Wait, really?
And the analysis in and of itself comes from a solid foundation. Now, the predictions might be wrong, and it certainly was, which is something that I took accountability for, even though you said I had not. So here's my question.
You really didn't. You then just did the same mistake again. You did the same criticism again.
Did you look into, okay, what sources I was looking at and where I was getting this opinion from?
Yeah, there were sources
beyond just like looking at YouTube clips and regurgitating talking points, specifically that you've heard from other like neoliberal commentators and whatsoever. Neoliberal commentators is the same fucking 5 clips that you are going to present here.
You think Destiny's secretly behind this? Is this what you're crying about right now? Is this why you keep saying random shit?
Does it sound like I'm
yeah, it does. You just said, yeah, it does. You're talking about stuff that doesn't matter.
Brother,
you're trying to shift the goalposts away from the criticism, which is your poor reporting. You bring me out to debate. You let me pick the debate topic.
Somebody was saying that the election would boost his numbers. I actually don't think so. I think that any election coverage, huge boosts that people like Vaush and Hasan were getting, I think was because of like the presence of some progressives, so like Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren and stuff. I don't know how much the election season will boost like some of the progressive or socialist streamers, because they're going to have zero representation. And it's just going to be the same shit over and over and over and over and over again, right? Donald Trump is bad, but Biden's not much better. Like that a million times. Lesser of two evils. So I'm curious how much coverage they'll do. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll bump quite a bit, but I would be surprised if that was the case. Also, I don't know if any of their audiences are even going to feel any passion for any of the coverage, right? Because they have like no dog in the race. They don't give a fuck one way or another if Biden or Trump wins. They have no investment whatsoever. I don't even know how much you'll cover it, but we'll see, yeah.
And now you won't engage. Okay. It's incredibly frustrating.
I am trying to engage with you. I am trying to engage with you. I'm trying to engage with you. I'm trying to engage with you in good faith as best as I possibly can. And all you've done so far is go through your YouTube video to be like, well, you said Kiev wasn't being bombed. And actually, it wasn't at the time. But then it got bombed afterwards. Listen, let me finish. Okay, I'm going to mute you if you don't let me finish.
It's not progressive viewers who will watch it. It's mostly normies who are barely into politics. I don't think very many normies who are barely into politics are watching people like Hasan. I think Hasan is very much like a very young, college-age and younger person. Like, sees him on TikTok giving like a progressive, anti-American take. I don't think like normal people are watching Hasan for I don't think normal people watch me for political views. Although normal people have a much higher chance of seeing me for political views because I've done so much work going on other shows, right? So I might have had like a little bit from like the No Jumper audience, or a little bit from Just Pearly Things and Fresh and Fit, or a little bit from the Tommy, the No Impact, like all of these other shows going on, maybe. But like Hasan, the thing is, remember, Hasan doesn't reach out to any normal platforms anywhere. It's very, very, very rare that he'll go on like, he won't go on opposing platforms. He's done a couple shows, but not very many. Not as many as he could be doing, so.
Okay.
Go for it.
You said Kiev wasn't being bombed at the time. It wasn't. Okay. And then you said, okay, well, guess what? Guess what, dude? Your tone was off. Okay. Well, my tone was off. You don't like it. But you haven't brought up, or I was being condescending. You haven't brought up the actual research or the actual analysis that led to these conclusions. Part of the reason why you haven't done that is because you have no idea what these sources are.
Since you're just talking in circles.
Pod Save America is the more mainstream normie lefty content. That's actually true. I think Pod Save America, I think, is the largest like center left-ish podcast, and I don't think they're like engaged at all in like this world. I don't know how many people from my audience or Hasan's audience or Vaush's audience like even know much about Pod Save America. I'm not sure.
On this, can I just go to the next one?
I'm not talking in circles on this whatsoever, but go ahead. Let's talk about the next point.
The next one.
But for the record, I am not clairvoyant. I cannot predict the future. I cannot predict the future.
No, I know.
So I just want to point that out.
But it's you talking on breaking news, like you know what the f is gonna happen and you don't. You're talking completely out of line. So, hold up.
Can
I just go to the next point?
Hold up. My speculation on what may happen, okay, in the future is not always going to be correct. Everybody understands this.
It's usually wrong, yeah.
It's usually wrong? The only example you brought over...
You said the CIA is why Iran bombed the U.S. base, bro.
Do you know how many... Do you know how many hours... Do you know how many hours...
Israelis is because it's a psyop to make Palestinians look bad.
Wait, hold on. What base are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about with the Iranian thing. What?
True. Hasan reaches the same political audience that Green Day did with American Idiot in 2004. True.
Iran struck a U.S. base, and then you said it's the CIA. No shot. It's the CIA. Complete because you were like, oh, there's a nuclear deal. Why would Iran do that? No way. No shot. 100% confidence. Iran then takes credit for it, and then you mauled and seethe to your audience.
Wait, I'm so...
I know, you don't know because you spew so much bullshit all the time, you can't even remember.
Perhaps the reason for why you are maybe the reason why I'm confused and the reason why you're a little bit confused on this is because in every single circumstance, every single thing that you've brought up, there's almost always...
Wait, what is this? Hold on.
...a correction that comes after the fact. You, on the other hand, do not see the correction, or you, on the other hand, see the 30 second to 2 minute videos, which is enough for you to try and develop a consistent narrative.
This is from your whole live stream, by the way. I'm watching everything in context. This is cope from you saying that this is out of context. It's the same shit Andrew Tate does and the Red Pillars do to me, claiming everything's out of context when it's not. That was your opinion at the time. You said those words. They came out of your own mouth. Go through the research.
Can I ask you something? Can I ask you something really quickly? Okay. One. This is important for you to comprehend.
I'm sure.
Do you think that over the course of thousands of hours,
SDSU had an Israel Freedom March days before UCSD had a Free Palestine March? Do you think young people are beginning to split on the topic? I have no idea. Remember, for young people, to track young people's opinions on this topic, it just depends on which social groups they belong to. No young person has any idea about any of the facts of the matter relating to this. It is literally a virtue signal topic. That is the only reason why people pick one thing or another for this particular thing. Yeah.
Thousands of hours of coverage. Okay? Thousands of hours of coverage. Especially when something is like being immediately brought to my attention. Okay? Immediately brought to my attention, which I don't even know what you're talking about, but
Yeah, I know.
I don't remember what you're talking about. But over the course of thousands of hours of coverage, when I, for example, read something in the chat and respond to it, okay, do you think that this is like reporting, or do you think that I'm giving like immediate commentary?
Breaking news you cover. This isn't a random chat comment. This is breaking news that's happening.
Okay.
I think what most people, you should do what most people do and wait for the story to be out there before you start spurging out.
Okay.
True. Lawson Harrison, $50. I had a theory that Vaush, Parker, and you were actually still secret friends. Years ago, you all made a plan to troll the internet, drew straws in your roles, then got the fun grift straws. They got the fun grift straws, and you got stuck with the fair analysis straw. Baba Booey. True. We're all Snape in the end.
Wild accusations. Here, can I go to the next one?
You need to limit your, TOS worthy takes here. This isn't fucking YouTube or whatever.
What is my TOS? What TOS did I break?
You can't use, unfortunately, and I used to do this in the past as well. You can't use ableist language, but go on.
Oh, like the R word? I got you. My bad. Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad that you're a fan, though.
Well, yeah, I don't, this is your job. I don't want to ruin that. So, for instance, like the missile hit the Gaza hospital, both sides blamed each other. That's the breaking news, right? And instead of waiting for more information, you jump to conclusions saying it was 100% Israel. 100%.
Okay.
We're so confident.
Good point.
All the chatters.
Good point. Can I ask you a question?
Oh boy. Now let's see if we can try to let's pull this. Okay, clearly I'm wrong here, but let's pull this into some autistically niche territory that he's not going to have information on, so I can look right. Okay.
No. Hold on. This is important. This is important. No, we're not jumping. We're talking about this. Okay. We're talking about this specific thing. Finally, now we're talking about Israel and Palestine. When I said that, I didn't just go, oh, I have no other opinion on this matter. I simply think Israel definitely did this because I want Israel to have definitely done this.
You see the dumb Osama bin Laden trying on TikTok? Yeah.
The reason why I said this, and you do this regularly, okay? When I say something on this stream, okay, oftentimes, especially if it's a developing story.
How do you know I say this stuff?
Especially if it's a developing story, when I say something on an issue that is happening, I look to all of the circumstantial evidence on the matter, and I look to everything else that is going on thus far. Now, we're two adult individuals here. Do you think it is unfair to say Israel blew up the hospital, like Israel bombed the hospital?
I think when there's a...
I hate that he's pretending. God, I hate this so much. I don't know how transparent it is. I like how he's pretending that he's going through some, process, some epistemically valid process to arrive at conclusions about breaking news, when the reality is he hates Israel, or America more precisely, and he'll just grab whatever factoid fits that, and then he basically works backwards from that conclusion. Like, bro, don't sit here and pretend like you were going through a multitude of stories on the... You probably didn't even read a full article about the bombing, and you're sitting here pretending like you had some epistemically valid process by which you were able to divine the actual truth of the bombing that just happened to be completely and totally fucking wrong, that you got so incorrect about it. Like, come on, dude.
Claim like that, you wait for information. Right? I mean, there's a million things.
The information is that there was.
Can I respond? There's a million things to criticize the IDF for. That's right out there, right? You know this. I've seen you do it all day on stream. You get them on shit that they 100% deserve. But when there's something like that, and instead of waiting for reports, while the report is literally Israel and Hamas blame each other, right? You don't know what the story is. You don't know who did it or not.
Does anybody have a video? Was it him or was it Vaush who was saying like, "Oh yeah, that definitely sounds like a JDAM"? Was that him or was it Vaush?
Deserve. But when there's something like that, and instead of waiting for reports, while the report is literally Israel and Hamas blame each other, right? You don't know what the story is. You don't know who did it or not. And you say 100%, they 100% did it. That's a huge disaster, bro. That's like
at that point. First of all, who do you think blew up the hospital? Like the hospital courtyard, rather. Who do you think bombed the hospital courtyard?
I think most investigations point towards it being either the Islamic Jihad or Hamas, right? It's like a misfired rocket. And then what you did in response to that was, instead of being like, yeah, I think since most of the reports are going this way.
Why do you think it's hold on. Why do you think it's a Hamas or Islamic Jihad and a rocket misfire?
I like how he's just mining and mining and mining. This is the live strategy, right? He's mining and mining and mining for something that the guy might not know about, so that then he can hammer him on some irrelevant, like esoteric side fact that has nothing to do with the initial claim of Hasan was clearly using a propaganda mindset to arrive prematurely at a conclusion about breaking news, right? Like, how far is he going to dig on this? Like, oh yeah, it was because of that. Well, do you even know the make and model? Do you even know the chemical makeup of the fuel that the custom rockets use? Do you like?
Well, that was just what most of the investigations turned out.
So
I know Channel 4 had a different one.
Because you're bringing this up, and this is really important to understand. One, all of the circumstantial
evidence. You say that every time, but it never is.
Okay.
That was a good one-liner.
And this is really important to understand. One, all of the circumstantial...
Oh, true. I wonder if Hasan was hoping that he would say, oh, Hamas bombed them. And he would go, oh, Hamas? You don't even know all of the different groups operating out of the Gaza Strip. Because it wasn't actually Hamas and people think it was. It was a totally different group, and you probably don't even know the name. That's probably what he was fishing for. But when he said Islamic jihadists, it his dialogue trip, so now he's got to hop to some different shit. You're probably right. That's probably what happened.
Not every time, but it never is.
Okay, all of the circumstantial evidence at the time, of course, after the 6,000 bombs that Israel had dropped on Gaza, a densely populated open-air prison, the 6,001st bomb, understandably, was going to be an Israeli bomb. To this day, we still do not know whether this was an Islamic Jihad rocket that was misfired, or whether or not this was actually an artillery shell that might have hit a fuel tank, or even some other kind of munition that Israel
may have deployed. So why did you say it was now, 100% the reason why, Israel and then call everyone genocidal freaks?
Because you don't actually watch the content beyond...
You demonize them.
Because, first of all, because they are.
You do every time,
because the Israeli government is genocidal. What the f*** are you talking about, you dumb 4,500 children have been ruthlessly slaughtered. You think that's not genocidal? Oh, the one hospital might... Wait, Willy, shut the f*** and listen, dumbass. Really?
I hate the children line. It's so fucking cringe. God, it's so cringe. Like, it's just like, it's like the Reddit meme that you just pull out over and over again. Like, break here to hopefully auto-win the argument. Did you know that 55% of people are children? And did you know that 25% of the people killed are children? And then 97% of their water is not drinkable and is genocidal apart? Like, it's always like the same, like, 6 talking points with, like, absolutely zero engagement with any actual fact of the matter, right? It's just, like, repeating these stats over and over and over and over again until you, basically, the person gives up, I guess.
Go on, do it.
Do you really think that if one hospital wasn't bombed by Israel and this was a fucking actual misfire, that all of a sudden means that, like, that all of a sudden means that, like, Israel's not doing ethnic cleansing?
Right now, you're doing it in real time.
Dude, just answer my question. Do you think?
It's not what he said. True.
Okay, I'm gonna put this side by side. I want you to fucking understand something, okay?
Oh, this is on WillyMax.
So that is a JDAM called on. Do you think that that seems similar to one another? Also, not a ballistic trajectory expert, but that JDAM came from super high up. But if you look at the actual confirmed video of the bombing, you know that neither of these parties... Do you think that the ethnic cleansing campaign, if you take out the bombing, okay? If you take out the one time that this hospital's bombed, okay? If you take that out, do you think out of the equation, do you think Israel is all of a sudden not doing ethnic cleansing in Gaza?
No, that's not what I said. This is what you're trying to
I'm asking you. Okay, then
I just said no.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay, so what's your reports? Okay, got it. No. Got it. Got it.
And you go ahead and they side with it. You continue to call them genocidal, even though that's the fact of the info. That's what most of the info says.
When I cover these kinds of
stories, you ignore the news, bro. That's the point. You just like lie and come up with your own shit.
I don't ignore the news. You ignore the rest of the coverage, because on the day of the hospital bombing, I personally said, okay, that the highest likelihood of this hospital being bombed is from Israel.
No, you also said it was 100%.
Just shut the up and listen, okay? Shut up and listen.
Shifting the goalpost.
Listen, I'm not shifting the goalpost. It's my own coverage. I'm giving you additional feedback. If you actually genuinely cared about the truth instead of clip chimping and drama farming, you would understand that on that same day, on that same day, over and over again, I said the highest probability of this is that this is an Israeli bombing campaign. Part of the reason why I said that,
you also said that,
and I also mentioned multiple times
after the investigation.
I also mentioned
the investigations don't agree with you.
I also mentioned multiple times. I also mentioned multiple times.
Just again, ignore what I said.
Dude, just listen to what I'm saying.
Well,
I know it doesn't correspond. No, it's not irrelevant.
That's true, he is. He's just saying irrelevant, random shit. Yeah, this is the Hasan strat. Remember, if you don't know what the you're talking about, or if you can't win the argument, just like vent, like info dump. This is what he did with Ethan over and over again. He just like random info dumps of shit. Because the more stuff you can say that's correct, it's like in the housing crisis. It's like creating CDOs when you've got like a lot of bad underlying material. If you pack enough shit in, it kind of works, right? So the Afghan-Soviet Civil War happened in 1850, and it was because America was the one providing the Afghans, I think, with nuclear weapons in 1850. 1 + 1 is 2. H2O means water. if you go into like any physics class and you actually study, you'll see that like a lot of it is theoretically in like frictionless vacuums, and it doesn't always carry over well to like engineering degrees. Red Bull has a lot of like caffeine and stuff. Like it's just like you say a couple of retarded things and then you just like start info dumping on the most random shit that nobody's asking about. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. No relevance to the argument. You just like info dump, and then if you say enough correct things after that, then everybody looks at you like, yeah, this guy's like a facts. This guy's a facts speaker, dude. This guy speaks some true facts. Yeah, and then all the while like chat is like spamming like, yo, yeah, you tell him, and it's like, who cares? It's like because it's the spray and pray debate strat.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Well,
I know it doesn't correspond. No, it's not irrelevant because you're making a video. You're making a video to massage a certain narrative, to create a certain narrative.
It's a true narrative. It's like
to create a certain narrative,
right.
And that narrative, when it doesn't correspond to the narrative you're trying to make, when it doesn't correspond to the narrative you're trying to make, you go, oh, it's irrelevant. Of course, it's not irrelevant. Do you think that my coverage of this bombing is irrelevant? Why are you making a video about a 30-second sliver of the content if you don't actually...
You jump to conclusions, and now you're saying, yeah, I did, but like, look, at this 1.8 hours in...
Willy, it's not 8 hours in. It's not 8 hours in. It's not 8 hours in. It is not 8 hours in. What will it take for you to go, okay, you know what? I was actually wrong. He actually had a much more even-handed approach to the subject matter. Or have you already made your...
Imagine Hasan trying to present himself as having an even-handed approach on this matter. Holy shit.
Preconceived biases, and you're simply looking to reinforce them.
The facts of what happened, and you have yet to disprove it. If my criticism is...
I said on the day of the bombing, Willy, I said on the day of the bombing, I said...
Yes, like the most hilarious part. Like it's the day, this is breaking news, and you jump to the conclusion that's 100%.
You're right. After 6,000 bombs, the 6,000st bomb, I should have been like, guys, hold on. Let's not talk about it.
You said 6,000 bombs. How many rockets do you think have gone from Gaza to Israel this year? Wait, why is he saying 6,000 bombs? Like Israel's the only one sending bombs. Actually, hold on. I'm about to pull a number maybe completely out of my ass. I might be completely making this up, and maybe I'm mixing up with some of the Israeli war coverage, so we'll look this up after. Didn't they say that there were 4,000 rockets that were sent out on October 7th from Gaza and Lebanon, or was it just Gaza to Israel, or am I making that number up? Was that reported, or might I make that up? 5,000 on the day? How many rockets Hamas fire into Israel on October 7th? This says 2,200. The IDF claims 9,500 since October 7th. That was 8 days ago. They said 3,000 were fired from the Gaza Strip. Okay. More than 3,000. Okay, so several thousand. So Hasan with this line of like, oh, well, maybe the 6,000 in first bomb. What about all the rockets that Hamas is firing? I wish Willy knew that fact, right? Why would it be so unbelievable that it was one of theirs? Like, you act like the bombing's only going one way.
Everybody
Shut up and listen, dumbass. Listen.
Oh, God.
Okay, thank you. Holy f. You're just simply proving how bad faith you are, and you don't give a shit.
I'm not.
Yes, I'm covering the fucking news.
You don't engage.
I'm covering the news. In America, when we have like mass shootings and whatnot happening, I have a policy of usually not diving headfirst into that news coverage because it is not the same as the consistent war coverage. The only reason why I usually talk about whatever kind of breaking story is happening. This is not the same for Israel, and it's not the same for Ukraine.
Wasn't your stream titled that the
listen to me. The only thing I cover in situations like that is whatever the mainstream media's, whatever.
Don't Hamas rockets have like a 20% fail rate? Yeah, remember that I should just look this up instead of making it up. The custom rockets are literally, it's like a tube, and then you put some like fucking fertilizer and nitrate or some bullshit, and then you just fucking let it go. It's not like a guided missile system or anything at all. They're incredibly primitive. You have very, very, very little control over the trajectory of these things. And I believe these are, when they talk about rockets coming to the Gaza Strip, this is what you're talking about, right? Like 99% of the time, I believe this. Now, well, I don't think a missile's ever been fired from the Gaza Strip. I don't think so, right? But I know missiles have been fired from Yemen, Iraq, I think Lebanon? We can go look it up. But yeah, these rockets are incredibly unreliable. Yeah.
Media has reported on. Oftentimes we just simply look at the live stream of the police force when they are talking about how many victims are there. That's it. Now, having said that, is that the case for Israel? No, it's not. Is that the case for Ukraine? No, it's not. And it wasn't, okay? And in that circumstance, there are times where, of course, I'm going to get certain things wrong. But this is an 8-hour news coverage. If you look at
all of these are missiles or just unguided. I had a couple of military people email me on terminology. I don't know if they both said the same thing, though. They might have given contradictory statements. But I think... Wait. Sorry. Oh, I think the explanation I was given was that missiles typically have some form of guidance and trajectory alteration, and rockets are just things that you just fire with no guidance. But I think I had 2 different military guys email me and give me 2 different answers, so I don't know if that's actually officially true or not. They might just be terms that have not much specificity. So.
30 seconds. If you look at a 30-second broadcast,
criticism. It's not 30 seconds. You keep saying that. It's not 30
if you look at a 5-minute portion of a fucking
you're fucking
brother. You're not listening to what I'm saying. On the very same
bombed by Israel, 800 people dead. That was your stream. What did I do to title it that? I didn't do that.
Okay.
I didn't clip that out of context. That was you.
Can you please listen to me? Can you please listen to me? Can you please listen to me? Can you please listen to me?
What will I have to show you for you to own up to this criticism?
Okay, because you're not listening to what I'm trying to say. First of all, I never said 800.
What you're saying is irrelevant. You're just going on about.
Did Hasan always debate like this? He seemed way more passive and more shit at debate in general years ago when he was still in orbit of yours. When Hasan was an orbiter. I think back then he tried to be like a little bit more kind of like fact-based, or not fact-based, but like having a real back and forth in a conversation. But like, you got to remember, the Hasan of the past like 3 or 4 years is like barely even a real human being, right? This is like a caricature of like modern day popular young politics combined with maximum like clout sharking approval mode, combined with maximum like Marxist-Leninist like anti-American tendencies, combined with like the most like perverted form of breaking news obfuscation. Like it's like this like amalgamation of like horrible characteristics. He's not like a thinking normal human being that's like, oh, like how would a human being engage this argument? It's like a defense mechanism after defense mechanism that he's like constructed to keep his ego and his cognitive dissonance at bay, to keep his ego safe, cognitive dissonance at bay, while he like engages with other people and tries to like farm basically reactions off of them. Like that's the only thing you're seeing at this point. Hasan is, by the way, not unique here. Like there's a lot of people that have this issue. Like I think Vaush, although he's a bit more cerebral about it, I think Vaush actually falls into a lot of the same types of traps. In fact, actually, if I think about it, probably most online political commentators will fall into this trap, because the problem is at some point the facts are going to take you to an area that is incongruent with whatever political party you're aligned with, and you can't confront that fact or talk about it. So the only other alternative is to perform. You have to do something. Remember, humans cannot live with cognitive dissonance. You have to do something to alleviate it. So you either lie to yourself, you like only search for certain types of information, you like engage in weird rationalizations to make it go away. Like there's always something you have to do to alleviate it. And for Hasan, that thing is usually avoiding confrontation from people as much as possible and picking the opponents like really, really, really well.
Stupid.
Random shit.
Okay, I was literally repeating what the BBC coverage was. Not only that, but also because like I don't have a direct on the ground. I wasn't.
What was the BBC? Hold on, I might have this wrong. All right.
Do you see how Willy interrupted him so many times and Hasan just kept rambling? But Willy said something there that was probably wrong, and now Hasan, the brakes just slammed on the screen. He's like, wait, you don't think the BBC got this wrong? I don't know how much they're going to debate on this point, but now Hasan wants to hang his hat on that point.
I wasn't.
What was the BBC? Hold on, I might have.
How do you deal with cognitive dissonance? Well, I mean, the good way to alleviate cognitive dissonance is that if you have cognitive dissonance, it means that a thought process has given you 2 ideas that are contradictory in nature, meaning that the same type of reasonable thought process should not be producing both opinions. So something is wrong with the thought process. So if you have cognitive dissonance because something is not matching your prediction with reality, or you're predicting different things, well, then you have to go back to the thought process and adjust it accordingly. That's what you're supposed to do. I hope that's what I do. But I mean, I guess technically everybody thinks they do that, so it doesn't really mean much. It's like when I say like, oh yeah, like I think I'm somebody that tries to find the facts and remain like unbiased, like everybody says that. So it's kind of a worthless statement for any individual to be saying it, because yeah, but that's ideally that's what you do, right?
I have this wrong. All right. Did the BBC say it was 100% Israel when they blamed each other?
The BBC's original assessment, yes, was that it was most likely an Israeli bombing.
Yeah, but they blamed each other in investigations.
No. That was literally the reason why they had to rescind the coverage. That was the reason why they had to rescind the coverage and apologize for it. But also, what you're failing, you didn't do your research. Shut the fuck up. What you're also failing to fucking comprehend here in your dense ass mind is that, once again, and I repeat myself, I said, here is what I will believe. Here is what I will believe. If there's a third-party investigation, given the fact that Israel has lied routinely about the bombing campaign, and specifically had, in that very same morning, the Israeli Air Force said we had no bombing campaigns happening in the region.
Investigations.
We have no bombing just listen, okay? We have no bombing campaigns in the region, which was a lie. They were bombing in that region, actually, as a matter of fact.
Wait, bombing a rich region?
About the bombing campaign, and specifically had, in your dense-ass mind, is that, once again, and I repeat myself, I said, here is what I will believe. Here is what I will believe. If there's a third-party investigation, given the fact that Israel has lied routinely about the bombing campaign, and specifically had, in that very same morning...
Oh, also, we are going to spend... I hope you're ready for it. I'm sorry, but I'm like super fat. I have so many questions. Fuck. I read, oh my God. Fuck, I'm sorry. I'm just reading everything, okay? What in the fuck? What in the fuck is the history of Lebanon? I tried to read through the First and Second Lebanese War. What in the fuck is even happening in that country ever? Holy shit. It's like 4 groups of people all trying to murder each other, all with different reasons. That country has like the most... That's in just like 2 random conflicts that I was reading about. What the fuck? Holy shit. That's number 1. And then also, number 2, okay, so I did a lot of reading on like, I think it's pronounced, I don't know how it's pronounced, Dimi and Jizya, I think, which is, Dimi refers to in Islam, depending on how you read it, in Islam, I'll give you the favorable reading. In Islam, there are readings of the Quran where non-Muslim people are considered part of your nation, and you're not supposed to convert them. You're not supposed to execute or kill them, but they're actually protected people. So you put these people in their own little villages or whatever the and you even let them have their own religious laws. You don't apply Muslim law. You don't apply Sharia to them. However, and it's because they're not a normal citizen that doesn't have the same obligations under Islam, you charge them a different tax. They pay jizya instead of, or jizya, I don't know how to pronounce it. Instead of whatever the normal, some M word or whatever, that Muslims pay. But blah, 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 blah. Moving all past that, here's a question that I have, okay? It seems like, and we might do a whole Ottoman Empire reading, okay? I'm asking this question. I'm not expecting to get a coherent answer. Or maybe somebody will email me one. It seems like the Ottoman Empire, for the longevity of that country, did a phenomenal fucking job of keeping so many different types of people, for the majority of its history, relatively peaceful and chilling with each other inside of their country. I don't know how. This is like the one thing that I want to like figure out. Like no, it did not. There were issues. I think there was was it in the 1800s it had like a big collapse and then like rebirth or whatever. But given the extensive amount of land they covered, the different types of people that lived in that region, especially religion and ethnic, and then the kind of like failing and then coming back, whatever, I feel like they did an okay job. Like, how many multi-ethnic empires were successful for that long, right? I could be wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe as I dive into the Ottoman Empire, I'll be like, oh, it actually was like super f***ed. But given, what is it, like 500 years? When did the Ottoman Empire start? 600 years, 700 years? Damn, I don't know. Bro, I feel like they did a pretty good job. I feel like they did a pretty decent job. I guess it depends on when you count like the start, depending on their size or whatever, but I feel like they did a pretty good job, okay? Destiny, the Russian Empire. I feel like the Russian Empire doesn't get a good track record because, this is very, 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 very light Russian history that I know just from studying Ukraine, Russia. Because I think the Russian Empire, like even in the czars prior to Stalin and prior to Lenin and prior to the revolution and everything, I think didn't Russia always have an empire of like, we're going to kill all your people and ship in our own people and we're going to like make you us? Like didn't even the earlier Russian czars and shit, didn't they always have that type of policy? I could be wrong on that, but I feel like I remember this popping up time and time again. But yeah, that history is like very, very, very rough or light, I would say.
Morning, the Israeli Air Force said we had no bombing campaigns happening in the region.
Investigations.
We have no bombing. Just listen, okay? We have no bombing campaigns in the region, which was a lie. They were bombing in that region, actually, as a matter of fact. That's number 1. Number 2, Israel also personally brought forward inconsistent testimony, inconsistent statements as to why this was definitely an Islamic Jihad rocket. okay? And the reason why we're having this conversation and how it's so fucking stupid, okay, it's so insanely idiotic, is because Israel is currently, while we're having this conversation, sieging the main hospital in Gaza. Israel, at that point, had 420 medical incidents, according to the World Health Organization. If you get your fucking news through clips.
The Aztec Empire, low-key, really good at unifying a diverse population. I might be biased because of like the mass sacrifices that I read of them, but I thought that they didn't do a good job unifying a diverse population. I thought they literally just conquered people, and you either like fall in the line or you get instantly executed. But I could be wrong. Maybe I'm doing the savage meme as the white invader.
You are not going to understand why I said what I said.
The Ottoman Empire was based more on religion, while Russians more on nationality. Yeah, but I thought for the Ottoman Empire, weren't there stories that like, what was the name of the first ruler? That like, as he conquered Constantinople and he marched in, that like the Jews came out of their temples and he literally said, listen, we own you now. Go back to your temples and worship the same way you were before. Nothing is going to change, and then like leaves or whatever. Like I feel like there were stories of that. There might be more particular things that I'm missing, but even though the Ottoman Empire was, I think, largely like stated as an Islamic empire, and even though people did live as different classifications of citizens under that dhimmi shit, I think for the most part they did okay. But again, I could be wrong, so be careful, okay? He said that, but then immediately taxed non-Muslims much more. I don't know how much the jizya tax or whatever was compared to the ordinary. Is it Muzrat or Mux? What the fuck was it called? Jizya versus zakat. Zakat. I don't know what the rates were. I tried to look this information up, but it was really hard to find information on this. But I also didn't do like a deep dive. I was just like checking or whatever. Destiny, they were pretty big on slavery. Okay, but like, wasn't everybody kind of big on slavery back then? There are native descendants in Mexico to this day that are proud to have fought alongside the Spanish to bring down the Aztecs. Zakat is how it's pronounced. Okay, sorry, hold on. We are not making good progress. Okay.
420 medical incidents, according to the World Health Organization. If you get your fucking news through clips, you are not going to understand why I said what I said.
This is something. Ooh, after that Goldstone report, and then after the, I think it was Goldstone and that big Operation Cast Iron thing we read. So something that I've heard and I've repeated over and over again is there are 3 numbers that are usually given for deaths in Gaza. There are 3 numbers usually given, or the West Bank, or Gaza especially. You've got the UN numbers, or the UN and Amnesty International numbers, right? The international third-party independent orgs. You've got the Hamas numbers, and then you've got the Israeli numbers. It tends to go, Hamas is the highest, the third-party international people are usually a tad lower, and then the IDF numbers are quite a bit lower, right? People use this a lot to point to the idea that that the Israel consistently underestimates the numbers, but now that I've started reading, I read through 2 of those essays that were a critical response to that Goldstone report. No, I think it was to Goldstone, yeah. Now something, because we're in the weeds on everything, and I love it. I love being in the weeds. Here's something I'm really curious about. How the fuck do third-party international orgs get these numbers? Because from the very little bit I've read, it seems like they basically just get them from Hamas. So you're really just getting the Hamas numbers twice. This is something that I'm already predisposed to believe this, so I'm admitting I have a bias right out the gate. I admit that I have a bias right out the gate. I'll probably try to find information to counter this, okay? But admitting that I have a bias right out the gate, I'm starting to understand more when Israelis are like, the UN and the UNRWA and Amnesty, all these people just hate us. I'm starting to understand that more because of the veracity of some of these reports and shit that come out from these third-party orgs that are like evaluating the crime and everything and the genocides and the war crimes and blah blah blah. But I don't have a strong feeling on that right now. But yeah, we'll see.
Including that unless there is an actual third-party on-the-ground investigation, I will, of course, believe, given the circumstantial evidence mounted, that this is yet another Israeli bomb or some type of Israeli munitions, that I'm going to assume that, yes, Israel blew up this hospital, just like it had blown up the cancer ward at that very same hospital 2 days prior. Did you see that part of the coverage? No, you didn't.
You know what you're doing right now, and what you just did?
Oh shit! Info dumping.
I criticized you for jumping to conclusions, right? Which, by the way, a lot of streamers didn't. A lot of new streamers didn't. Right? I would have been down to make videos on them. Some did, but a lot didn't, right?
No, you wouldn't, dumbass. You only do this because it gets you fucking views. You don't give a shit about Israel.
All you did was justify the bad, justify why
Israel claimed that the BBC was doing modern blood libel.
This is what you just said. All you did right there was justify why you should be able to report things badly. And then you dismissed it all saying, well, Israel's attacking Gaza right now, so none of it matters if I got it wrong.
Because, of course,
it's fucking embarrassing.
Because the point that you're trying to argue here without actually saying it.
The point is that you should just wait and do a good job reporting. Why were you
But wait, if the Hamas numbers are high, third-party people are lower or in the middle. Third-party people are not lower in the middle, they're just slightly lower. And the Israel numbers are substantially lower. Doesn't that track in terms of where the bias numbers should be? The question that I'm curious about, though, is where do the third-party people get their numbers from? That's what I'm curious about. And I haven't done deep diving into that. Because my understanding is a lot of that just comes from communication with the Gaza and Health Ministry, which theoretically is supposed to operate independently from Hamas, even though it's under the wing of Hamas. There are, I've seen that like journalists have talked to multiple people that work as part of the Gaza and Health Ministry that says we don't take orders from Hamas. They don't tell us, you know, what to report or whatever. So for that has been said by people that work in these organizations. Now, how much I believe it or not, I'm not sure. Again, I have to read it, but like, I don't have a reason to not. Well, I do have a reason to not trust it. That's a lie. I'm trying to be too impartial, right? If they're all part of like Hamas or that, like obviously, but
making the concrete statements you know nothing about. That's the same criticism. You haven't disproved that at all.
I'm gonna lose my mind. Listen to me.
I'm losing my mind, bro, because it's just
first of all, one, you're holding me to a fucking higher standard of the BBC, which the Israeli government said was blood libel.
To be clear, Hasan holds himself to a higher standard than the Hasan holds himself to a higher standard than journalists. Remember on Piers Morgan, he said, I think I do a better job. Well, maybe he doesn't hold himself to a higher standard, but he said, I think I do a better job than most journalists, he said. X-Trine-Randix says, Destiny, where do Israel get their numbers from? I mean, like, based on the reporting and everything that we've seen, it seems like when Israel is bombing people and doing recon and intel, they have, like, a decent amount of information about, like, who's on the ground and who's in what areas. Like, if soldiers are on the ground especially. But, I mean, like, if they blow up a building that they don't have troops next to and there are 20 family members inside, would the IDF know that? My guess is probably not, or if they would, I have no idea how they would get that information. So, like if we do a bunch of research and it's like, well, the IDF can't account for like 15% of people that they vaporize because they're doing these bombs at long distance, like how would they ever know? Yeah, that could be totally possible, right? I can't. There's no way I could say like, oh, the IDF 100% is going to know every single like. I don't know if they could know, but I don't know the explicit process by which they try to verify like casualties and stuff on the ground. I'm not sure, so.
For arriving at the same fuck. You know why I didn't apologize? You know why I didn't apologize?
You haven't done that.
You want to know why I didn't apologize? You want to know why I didn't apologize? Do you care?
Why don't you let me talk?
Do you care? Do you want me to tell you why I didn't apologize?
Actually, somebody linked this article in chat. I actually read this exact article. This was one of the ones that I read on this. I read this on the plane today, actually. 15 hours ago. That's why. How the dead are counted in Gaza. I think I Googled something like, I don't remember what I Googled, but it was like verify dead, I think like Hamas, Gaza, some shit, hospital. Yeah, I don't know why I showed you this article that I read, but it seemed like it felt like when I read this, it basically what they did is they get the list from Hamas and they just try to like fact check a little bit to see if it's like if they can find some obvious bullshit, and then if they don't, they basically just are republishing the Hamas numbers essentially. But BD is usually done with drones and sourced on the ground. 90%, especially here in the U.S. military and Israeli doctrine, isn't super different. How substantial is the gulf between Hamas numbers and Israeli numbers? Honestly, it's usually not that far off. Operation, Protective Edge. I hate that I haven't read all these recent fucking incursions. Let me see if I can find. So like the Gaza Health Ministry here for this reports 2,300 killed, 10,000 wounded. The UN reports 2,250 killed. And Israel reports 2,125 killed. So they're generally not like too far off. Yeah. Now remember though, I don't know what the 70% civilians means because my understanding is the Gaza Health Ministry never publishes information about combatants. They call all of them civilians, I thought. Let me, I thought that was in this. Health ministry officials say the death figures are recorded by medical professionals before being passed on to them, and the figures only include people recorded dead in hospital. The figures do not distinguish between military and civilian deaths. So yeah, I don't know how they get from the Gaza Health Ministry the 70% civilians. I'm not sure how they count that, but it makes sense that Jews get taxed more. They follow the Torah when lending to other Jews, no interest for one another, full tax to Gentiles. This is the financial reason why the world hated them so much. Bro, there's no way that nobody in the whole world besides Jews were lending at interest. I can't believe that. There must have been Christian. It was like such an obvious business idea, fronting capital people with like time discounting and everything taken together. There's no possible way that nobody in the entire world besides Jewish people were lending with interest. I can't believe that. There's no shot. That'd be so stupid. Usury? It's usury, right? Usury? No, it's usury. Usury was a sin for Christians. My brother in Christ, as Vaush says. I'm pretty sure in the 1500s, weren't Catholics literally selling indulgences to people? Like, weren't they literally, like, wasn't this part of the Protestant, like, Reformation demands? I don't remember when the Reformation was. Fuck. Was it 1500s? Or was it, like, 1800s? Protestant Reformation. It was 1500s, yeah. But like the Catholic Church was literally like bring me like 50 shekels or gold pieces. I don't know what the fuck the currency was. Bring me 50 of the king's coin and I will like forgive your sins and send you to heaven. Like some wild shit. Yeah, so like if you're literally doing that, you tell me you can't lend a brother some, you know, 20 bucks with some interest? Bullshit. I don't believe it. No shot. No shot. That's wild. I can't believe it. The Catholic Church had like 3 popes at once at one point, okay? You're telling me nobody was like, can I lend this dude some money and charge him some fucking interest? No shot.
I know why you didn't apologize, because you never do. You always double down or shift the goal.
Wait, I don't apologize?
This is
I don't apologize? That's crazy, because you said I never apologized about being wrong about Ukraine, but I did.
Yeah,
and you lied and said that, oh, well, actually, you were just backing away.
I'm very consistent with it.
Yeah, you're consistently wrong, you dense. Listen.
I haven't. You don't even watch the videos. How would you know if I'm wrong?
Why would I watch your dumbass drama farming videos? You don't give a shit about anything. You don't give a shit about this conflict. You don't give a shit about this beyond it pushing your personal...
You not watching my videos is the same level of reporting that you give Israel and Gaza. It's the same level of reporting that you give Ukraine.
I'm going to be honest with you. If you think
minimum effort in and just
you are revealing how stupid you are by claiming that watching a YouTube video is the same as like reading news reports and talking to on-the-ground journalists and forensic analysts.
No, I'm not. I'm saying you won't even do the bare minimum and you won't even do it for a drama video.
I'm losing my fucking mind. Why would I care about your drama video, dumb?
Yeah, you do. That's why you invited me on.
I invited you on because I thought that you genuinely had a perspective that was at odds with mine on Israel-Palestine. You said, never mind, it's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about my videos that I've made on you. So now we're stuck having this stupid conversation. When I cover shit like this,
the bit would be about if you just watch the video.
Willy,
classic journalism.
All right, I'll ask you questions.
Is he talking to on-the-ground reporters and forensic analysts? Is that what he's implying he's doing, or what the news sources he's watching are doing? I thought he was implying the news sources that he reads are doing that.
I'll ask you questions. In your video, do you, I don't know, at any point bring up any of the resources that I'm using, like including the BBC, which you said?
Yeah, I showed the tweet you used. Yeah, I did. I showed the tweet.
He's saying that he literally says it? Who the fuck is he talking to on the ground anywhere? Or he probably brings on a person for like 30 minutes to chat with them. And then, yeah.
Of a missile striking the ground, going, doesn't that look like a JDAM? That actually looks a lot like a JDAM. That's your epic reporting. Those are your epic sources, bro.
Yes. My epic sources. That was the only verified video of the strike at the time.
I know. Like, you're a
Do you know where I got that?
Like, you know how to.
Do you know where I got that video from? Do you know where I got that video from?
Where?
The Washington Post. That's where I got that video from.
Yeah, but you don't know how to interpret what that missile is.
That's really interesting you say that, because at the time I was talking. At the time, that's really interesting because at the time I was. At the time. I know at the time you talking to. I was talking to open source intelligence people and also forensic analysts. That's what I was doing, and I still do when I'm reporting on this kind of thing, especially when it's outside of my immediate like expertise or whatever. I go to people that are making real-time assessments. One of the things that I'm sure you didn't mention was the geo-confirmed Twitter thread. The geo-confirmed Twitter thread that originally was incredibly viral pointed to this being...
Does this all exonerate you for jumping to conclusions?
Yeah, it's just more fact dumps. The UN hires locals in Gaza and in the West Bank to coordinate its programs with neighboring countries that have bigger UN offices. As some of the Red Cross, but they also have offices in Tel Aviv. Cool. Destiny, he's saying he's doing it, and he said so during the stream on 10/17 and had nobody on his stream, so if it's true, it's all in the background. In parentheses, it's not true. True.
No, dumbass.
Yeah,
over the course of 8 hours, I am parsing through misinformation.
Over the
no, I'm not. I'm not shifting. We're still talking about this bombing. We're still talking about this bombing.
By the way, hold on. Can we move on? Because this is just circles. You're just
whoa. No, we're not moving on just because you feel like this conversation is completely out of your depth because you only look at clips.
Very basic. The conversation
because you only look at clips.
You jump to conclusions, and then you jump to conclusions, and now you justify why you should be able to do that.
One thing that I do in breaking news stories is to parse through, okay, all of the information that is accumulating online that is going viral. I do this specifically for you know, whenever there's a mass shooter and some fucking psychotic right-wing weirdo will turn around and be like, oh, the mass shooter actually is trans or whatever the fuck, right? Sure. Now, in this circumstance, I can't believe we're still talking about this, by the way, because every single piece of information that Israel, as the official account, has brought forward has been an abject lie.
Hasan, I got a question,
that have been disproven by the very same authorities that you claim are totally on board, okay? Are totally...
Debate tonight or tomorrow. Man, you should have a hard date and be promoting the f of it beforehand. This is going to do numbers. To be honest, this sounds kind of sad. I never thought I'd be saying this. Like, streaming is like the secondary way that I make money right now. Like, the streaming stuff just feeds into my YouTube stuff. So, like, being like ultra rigid on like, oh my god, I got a Finkelstein day, blah, blah, I need everybody there. Like, the live streaming stuff is not like the main thrust of like what I do. It's generally like preparing content for YouTube is the main thrust of what I do. So, yeah, if it happens tomorrow, like, I'll definitely tweet out like a time and everything. But like, it's not like I'm not like oh my god, I've got to get the maximum live viewership for this particular thing. That's not like the focus. So, yeah.
Totally saying claim are totally on board, okay? Are totally saying like no, it definitely has to be an Islamic Jihad rocket. Every single person I've talked to, from forensic analysts that work at the New York Times, that work at Washington Post, all the way to open source intelligence analysts that I talk to from a broad variety of different ideological backgrounds. The conversations that we had revolved around some of the other open source intelligence community members basically bringing forward incredibly stupid conclusions, like how this massive casualty-inducing rocket that was actually a cause of an intercepted missile that fell on the hospital. Every single point that was brought forward in the immediate aftermath of the hospital was actually completely incorrect. But
I don't even know what he's referring. He made such a broad. He knows more. Do you ever call it OSINT or is it always open source intelligence? The OSINT people, is Hasan trying to say that he had like a better grasp on what's going on than these guys? Honestly, at this point, I think I would trust some of those can you say OSINT or is that weird? I think I'd trust some of those OSINT accounts more on Twitter than I do at this point, like WAPO or the New York Times. The ideological biases on the reporting here have gotten like actually out of control. I don't know how this is like probably one of the most mind-melting conflicts that I've ever seen literally in my entire life in terms of people's reporting on it just being unhinged.
Didn't make a video about that. You made a video about me because if you made a video
about you, yes, you finally get it.
Stop. Listen. Let me finish. You didn't make a video about Geo Confirmed and how viral his fucking thread was. You didn't make a video about how wrong most of the news outlets were for directly reporting what the Israel directly reporting what the Israel.
You think how Kalinske lost his redemption arc? He seems to be brain rotted by the conflict. I mean, like everybody's redemption arc got set back a few steps. It happened with Anna Kasparian as well, saying she's not voting for Biden because of the Israel-Palestine stuff. It's just, again, for that JJ McCullough video or whatever, this is just like, it's the perfect conflict to funnel whatever ideology you have through. There's so much. Like, the only thing that would make it even better is if, like, all the Palestinians were, like, men and, like, all the Israelis were women, or, like, reverse it so we could get, like, some feminist shit up here, too. Or maybe, like, in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, like, 94% of people had, like, an N64, and in Israel, like, 92% of them had, like, a PS2. Like, that would be perfect. Like, I don't even know. Like, there's, like, 3 things you could change to have it be more divisive. But other than that, it's like the perfectly divided conflict for, like, somebody to take a really strong side on without having any idea about like anything that's going on. So I think that's why people just get so heated and wrapped up into it.
Says as though it's God's honest truth, okay?
I don't report.
They got everything wrong on that subject, but guess what, dude? They got everything wrong. But there was no Willy Mac video on that because why would you make it?
Hold on, did they correct it?
Wait,
did they correct it?
No, they haven't.
They haven't. They just doubled down on it.
No, I'm talking about all of the false testimony that they brought forward about how Israel. Most of these outlets that literally just repeated whatever the Israel said, just went along with it because it goes along with the overarching narrative.
Right, but but how come I gotta make a video on them just because I made a video on you? Like,
because you said, wait, hold on. In the beginning of this conversation, you literally said, if someone else had gotten information wrong, I would have done a video on them too. But only you got the information wrong.
I didn't say that. If I made a video on somebody, if I made a video on somebody else,
you said those exact words.
Let me correct it because that's a ridiculous statement, right?
But you did say that. If you care about misinformation, maybe you should, I don't know, make the next video about ideas.
If he cares about misinformation, maybe you should publish a general history book. What do you mean? The guy's a YouTube commentary person. He makes videos on YouTubers and streamers. Like, what are you talking about? This would be like this would be like an FDA watchdog being like, we think the FDA is wasting, you know, $15 million a year in licenses for, you know, phase 3 trials. You know, like, if the FDA really cared about wasted money, why wouldn't they look at how much money my mom wastes on crack cocaine? Like, bro, that's not their fucking job.
Yeah, and all the times they lied about every single bombing campaign.
So you're saying because I made a video on you, I now got to make a video on Israel? Like,
no, you don't have to do anything, but you can't also maintain the position that you care about the truth and honesty in journalism, like you're a fucking Gamergate holdout, being like, oh, I care about the ethics in video game journalism. That's why we have to dox these female journalists or some shit.
Jesus Christ.
What are you talking about?
I didn't say that. I'm using... Do you know what a analogy is? Dumb
Yeah, hey, I got a question. If I go ahead and let's say, like, you referenced in that big, long, rambly rant that lasted like 5 minutes, right? You referenced that you later in the stream got a story right and that I should have talked about that because you covered some things right. Does that mean I can't criticize you for when you're wrong?
No, of course you can. The entire point is framing something incorrectly. If there's 8 hours of coverage on a particular matter, and throughout that coverage, I'm actually personally talking about how the red line I would draw is on the ground. If there is an on-the-ground investigation where they look at ground soil.
Also, let me be clear on this too, okay? Let me be clear on this too. Because Hasan keeps thinking that, like, well, I don't know what he actually thinks, if he's this stupid or not. Hasan keeps thinking that the issue that people are having is that, like, he had, like, this opinion instead of this opinion. That, like, the issue is that he got something wrong. There's nothing wrong with getting things wrong, well, except for being wrong. That's not the issue. The issue wasn't whether you were right or wrong. The issue is, like, what's the thought process you're using to get there, right? If it was the case that, like, Hasan was using, you know, like, oh, I went through everything at the time that was available, and it seems like I could have been incorrect, like, and I fucked up, blah, blah, blah. That'd be one thing, but that's not what's happening. These two conclusions aren't being generated by, like, the same potentially valid thought process, right? That's not what's happening. Instead, like, these conclusions are coming from this, like, unhinged this unhinged propaganda mindset where it's like, oh, Israel bad, US bad, and, like, this is where the conclusions are coming from. But Hasan is acting like people are only mad because he's getting it wrong, because he's winding up the red circle and then later on course correcting to the blue circle. But this path, hold on, let me see if I can explain this. This path here, if let's say you use a bad thought process, okay? The bad one, the good one, okay? And then this is the bad conclusion and the good conclusion. Hasan thinks that if he uses the bad thought process and then he gets to the bad conclusion, but then he eventually course corrects to the good conclusion, that this is like, oh, this is okay because I wound up at the right place. But that's not true. He's using I'm sorry, a comparable thing might be using a, let's see, ooh, fuck, can I erase these lines now? I fucked up. A comparable thing might be using a good thought process, but maybe you arrive at a bad conclusion, and then you go to a good conclusion. Okay. The thing that is annoying about this, the thing that sucks about this, is the reason why the bottom thought process happens because you might legitimately get things wrong. You might f up. So, by the way, I think it's the case right now. I don't believe that people think that the original video analysis of that rocket that misfired in the air and then fell into the parking lot and blew up, I think at this point, sorry correct me wrong, but I think most people think that that video is probably not the rocket that blew up in that parking lot because the time was different, and when they geolocated, like, the depth or whatever, it seemed like that rocket was a mile or two away. I think that's where we're at right now. So the original people were incorrect. The Israeli army, the US analysis, and the other OSINT people, I think that's where we're at right now. So, like, you might use a good thought process, and you were wrong, right, on that. Now, that doesn't mean that the rocket came from Israel, of course, the missile came from Israel, right? But then you end up with a good thing. The annoying thing about this thought process, though, is because what it allows you to do, and it's so disgustingly obvious, and it's so blatant and so aggressive, what it allows you to do is it allows you to collect points on the entire fucking journey. It's only using the bad thought process that you get credit for being wrong, okay? If I make a prediction and then I'm incorrect and then I'm like, oh shit, I either jumped to a bad conclusion here, I was using a bad source, I was wrong, we change it. Like, I'm probably not going to lose much because I'm relatively honest, but like, it kind of hurts a little bit. If I were to get this wrong over and over and over and over again, it would hurt me. It would look bad. Like, Destiny, you're wrong on a lot of these predictions. Like, maybe you shouldn't talk about this, or maybe you need to do more background research. Like, you're wrong over and over again. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I am. You're right. So it would hurt me if I got that wrong over and over again, and then I course corrected to the right opinion. But people like Vaush is really good at this, and Hasan is really good at this. What they do is they start out with the bad thought process, and they go, America bad, Israel bad, America bad, Israel bad, white people bad, oppressor bad, colonialist bad, and they get all the versions. They get all the TikTok clips, they get all the YouTube clips, they get all the subscribers, they get all the notifications, they get all the money, they get everybody loves it. And then after they've collected all of that, I don't even want to say virtue points, it's actual dollars, cash dollars in the bank account. Then after that, then they can course correct. And then after they course correct, they get more credit. Like, oh my God, he's so honest. Look, he admitted that he was wrong. He admitted he was wrong about Ukraine. He admitted he was wrong about the hospital. He admitted that he jumped to conclusion. And then they get even more money for being honest. This happens with Vaush so much. And Hasan does it too. But the annoying thing is they pretend that this thing here, they pretend that this journey is the same thing as this journey. And it's not. It's absolutely not the same thing as that journey. And it bothers me so much that especially Vaush fans will do this thing where they're like, oh, well, hey, at least he admits when he's wrong. Like, no, f you. That's part of the formula. Being wrong is part of the formula. The first analysis is an ideological one, and once you've milked the teat of the ideological well dry for subscribers, then you do the factual one, and now you get to milk that one next. This is bullshit, and I hate that it happens so many times, and that people can't see how obviously transparent it is. It drives me fucking crazy. Sorry, Jesus, I hate this model for arriving at conclusions. F me.
Analysis, one factor of the forensic analysis on whether or not this was a misfire is actually seeing the impact, right? You have to look at the crater. And the crater in and of itself, immediately, once the dust settled and we saw the crater, I said, while I originally looked at the video, can I please explain what's happening here? Or are you just in here to fucking cry? Okay.
Well, it sucks because you're going on about irrelevant stuff.
True.
If your ultimate statement is that my claims are baseless, then you haven't done your research, because none of this is baseless.
To conclusions.
Destiny, they aren't wrong on purpose. They're just retarded. This is cope. No, they're wrong on purpose. There's no way that you can get this many things wrong over and over and over and over again without it being intentional. It is intentional. It might not be intentional to be wrong, but it is grossly negligent to adhere to the facts, and is intentional to follow the political lines that you've established for yourself, the political boundaries that you've established for yourself. Like, remember Vaush's, God, this was the funniest thing. The cop showed his training planting drugs, Vaush. This is like one of my favorite clips of all time. It's so...
The body cam footage for the clip, it's because he doesn't want his body cam to pick it up.
Look, and also, I also love this video. This video is so good because it shows you how powerful post hoc, after the fact, reasoning can be to get you back to a conclusion, right? As opposed to you actually thinking through and coming to a conclusion, you have the conclusion and then you work your way back from it. And it's such a powerful demonstration of this kind of like post hoc rationalization. It's so good, right? Because it's not just that he's like, oh shit, they planted evidence. He then concocts in his mind an entirely fantastic story to explain what's happening, and none of it's true.
To frame a black man with an illegal substance.
Hold on, this is such a good example of this. This is such a good demonstration of this.
A Caledonia police officer appears to be seen on camera attempting to frame a black man with an illegal substance. Appears to be. I mean, this is the most clear cut I've ever seen. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that.
Hey, bro, what's that?
What's what?
That you just threw in here.
What's what word?
I got you on camera, bro.
I got you on camera. We're all good.
Hey, bro, you just threw that in here.
Yeah.
You got to record every police interaction, my friend. Now, this cop is trained. Take a look at the cop. Look at this. See how the cop turns his chest away from where he's throwing that? That's because he doesn't want his body cam to pick it up. He turns his chest away from it. See? Chest facing that way, drug plant happening this way. He knew. He has it on him. He just, whoop, yep, does a little slippy. That's why we need the 4K 360 police camera girdle, okay? You know those baby strollers where they sit in it and they waddle around on wheels, like by pushing their feet against the ground? You know what I mean? Like they have like the little bars and they like, woo, you know, like that? That's what all cops need to be in at all times. And it's just a constant
I remember he gives more analysis on that particular thing.
Ring of visual awareness. With a diaper, of course, yeah. We should also have it be one of those 360 YouTube live videos.
What is the truth of this story? The truth of this story, because they released the full footage, was when the cop was initially going through the back seat, I think there was like a plastic baggie on the floor, and he picked it up, and I think he takes it back and he looks at it for a second, and then he goes back to the car and he tossed it in. But it came from the car, and there were no drugs in it. They didn't try to like nail them for the bag. There's nothing in it. He just like picked it. If somebody wants to link the full camera footage so that we can look at it on stream, so it doesn't seem like I'm making shit up. If somebody has it, you can find it. But like, yeah.
Have you ever watched one of those 360 YouTube videos where you can hold your phone and it rotates?
Oh, wait. Is this him going over the... Oh, I'm sorry. This is him doing the second part of this. I'm sorry. It's always important to be willing to change your stance when presented with new, relevant information.
Which is super cool. That's what it needs to be. And every police precinct needs to have their own YouTube channel with simultaneous live videos of every cop in their baby girdle at all times. Okay? So anytime ever, you can just go like, hey, I wonder what the LAPD are up to. Let's say it's Officer Hankins. Yeah.
Okay,
clip we watched earlier was released. The cop didn't plant anything. It was an empty bag that fell out of the driver's pocket.
Oh, that's what it was. Sorry.
Hold on. Do full screen.
What's what? What's what word? What's what?
So that was when he leaned to the right when he threw the thing in?
What's what? What's what word? I got you on camera. We're all good. Hey, bro, you just put that in here. Yeah, because it was in his pocket and I don't want to hold on to it. It's on their body cam that they took it off of him, so.
Notice how this part wasn't in the original clip. This is the same shit as the Jacob Blake shit, by the way. Notice how that wasn't in the original, like, horrible cop clip. You know what, also? I bet this guy, when he was recording it with a cell phone, because I think it was the guy in the passenger seat that recorded with a cell phone. Notice how he didn't post that part? Notice how he didn't post the full clip?
I'm telling you where it came from, so. It's an empty baggie at the moment, too, so. Okay, buddy.
So he did throw it in, but he's saying it was just some random thing that got dropped?
I'm telling you where it came from, so. It's an empty baggie at the moment, too, so. Okay, buddy.
You can see it's empty. Well, it doesn't really matter if it's empty, right? If the plastic bag has like any trace of drugs on it, then that can be used. Yeah, look at I have residue. Even if it's visually empty, it doesn't need to.
Just corner cut.
But he's holding the thing right there.
Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, sorry. That's like that process from start to finish. But the backwards rationalization is crazy. Like, oh, you can tell that he's been trained to lean away from the thing to the... Yeah. Plutonian Shore is $10. The other part of it is that even once they correct the record, it never changes their base ideological thinking that led to the bad conclusion. True. Destiny, the river to the sea saying is in hot waters. Most people just see it as a free Palestine, but Germany just banned it with consequences. You know what? Somebody, I actually have well, I don't know if I call him a historian, maybe call him a pop historian. Somebody linked me a video of a guy talking about that from the river to the sea saying, and I think his commentary was pretty insightful. Now, this is an old video, it's 10 years old, but I'll show this. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He doesn't say from the river to the sea exactly. He's talking about the right of return, so actually even more explicit, but... Remind me to watch this afterwards.
To conclusions.
Of course, yeah, I jumped to the same conclusions that the BBC did too, and I also said...
But they corrected it, you don't.
No, but you're failing to understand is...
Doesn't Vaush, at least if not Hasan himself, say they don't even care about truth? Vaush backed away from that opinion hardcore.
Even on the same day, immediately after this, said, I might be wrong on this, and if I'm wrong, here's how I will be disproven, okay? If somehow we end up having an impact crater analysis and soil analysis to see what kind of munitions was used in this process, and it is consistent with an Islamic Jihad rocket because we know what kind of rockets they have, and this most likely, and I said this the day of as well, was a possible batter rocket, the BADR rocket, okay, that Islamic Jihad does have. If that is the case, then the ground soil, the ground, yes, chemical testing on the ground would prove that to be true. Hamas also, and I brought this up as well, which I thought was suspicious, could not find anything beyond the impact crater, could not find a possible shrapnel from the missile because the missile doesn't perish, okay? So what I said is in situations like this, and I showed like an earlier event like this where Israel had lied, okay? In situations like this, usually they will bring forward a piece of the fucking missile. Okay? If you're engaging in this, if you're engaging in my content in good faith, you would have seen all of this. I don't just like repeat whatever fucking thing I'm thinking about out of my ass. Okay?
You do all the time. That's
not true because I'm telling you.
Watch the video. Dude, hold on. In the same stream.
I'm telling you where my analysis comes from.
I like how, like, imagine if you would have said that day one, then we would have been fine. Like, why not just say that? Instead, it was like, day 1, Israel, 100%. Day 2, it's like, well, maybe once we get the soil analysis done by 15 different third-party organizations, and then we verify that the soil analysis matches the rocket profile, the rocket fuel profile, and it's like, bro, where was this? This is good analysis, actually. This is good analysis. Where was it on day 1? Did my Iowa thing get posted? I need to focus on this more in my future conversations. Oh, it did, 36 minutes ago.
Tonight's
something that I get like super triggered about that has happened with something that I get super triggered about that's happened in a ton of conversations is I realize that people are nowhere near as stupid as I think they are sometimes, because this happened a lot with betting on things. I think it happened a lot on betting on things. I think it's happened a few times to me where I'll talk to somebody and they'll say something like, oh, Donald Trump is going to win the next election. I'm just giving an example. Let's say Donald Trump is going to win the next election 1,000,000%. There's no shot that he loses. Really? No shot? Absolutely not. Nothing's going to stop him. None of the charges, nothing's going to stop him. I'm like, okay, you have a lot of conviction on that. Do you want to give me 2-to-1 odds on, $1,000 on Trump winning? Because you feel really strongly. 2-to-1 odds, that should be good for you because you're so strong. Now, this is what I expected people to do. I either expect them to block me or to say fuck off, okay? Or take the money, or like cope and leave or whatever. But instead, I found in a lot of my conversations and interacting with people on Twitter on stream, what actually happens is they start to reveal that they're far more reasonable than I thought they were. They're like, okay, well, the indictments might actually hurt him. He could, maybe something new will come out. There is the age thing, he's kind of old. Like, all of a sudden, all these reasonable arguments, and then they temper their opinion on it. And it's like, okay, hold on. I didn't do anything to give you these ideas. All I did was to make you stake something on your opinion. Like, actually stake out some kind of risk related to your opinion. And then all of a sudden, all these answers come out, or all of these justifications or these caveats come out. I'm like, oh, so you knew this the whole fucking time. Well, why the fuck didn't you say this initially, you motherfucker? Where was this energy, in the beginning stages? It was like the most mind-blowing thing in the world that I saw. The most mind-blowing thing in the world I saw was when Florida bans trans treatment language bill. Does anybody have the text of that bill? The thing that I thought was so fascinating about this bill is that I'd spent so much time arguing with conservatives about hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, right? There's a reason why we don't use retrospective studies. There's a reason why sample size 12 in some random region in India or places like super high in, parasites are why we wouldn't look at ivermectin for improving outcomes. It doesn't make sense. It's anti-parasitic, right? All these things. And like no conservative ever seemed to understand any of this. But then as soon as Florida publishes a bill, and then I saw, as of right now, the bill says something like, right now, puberty blockers for trans children is not good because we don't have any prospective randomized control trial studies of a sufficient number to prove that these treatments are efficacious. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, wait a second, you fucking retards, you guys know about the prospective RCTs? Did you guys know that this is like the gold standard for medical research? Did you know that the entire fucking time? Or oh my God. When I saw that text, because I'm pretty sure it's literally that text on the bill. Yeah, I couldn't believe it, but. Anyway, sorry, we got on a huge tangent there.
I'm talking to.
Reframe this entire thing,
brother. You've literally complained here about one hospital bombing that is still not proven. One hospital bombing that is still not proven to be an Islamic Jihad rocket by saying third-party forensic.
You say 100%, and then everybody who says otherwise, you were calling genocidal.
I still think
that's what you did on stream. That's what you did.
I did do that because they are. If you're defending Israel, you are genocidal.
Right, but if you simply are
wait, do you think defending okay, let's talk about that. Do you think defending Israel? Do you think defending Israel's actions?
Look how you're doing this now. You're now saying
okay, because you brought up a new point. You brought up a new point. We're moving on. We're not going to watch your shit ass video. You brought up a new point.
I know because you don't want.
Okay. Do you think what Israel is engaging in is ethnic cleansing and ethnic displacement in Gaza right now? You do?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Do you think defending this ethnic cleansing and ethnic displacement campaign would be defending genocidal acts then in your own assessment?
Yeah.
Okay, so we agree. All right, got it. Thank you.
I know the criticism is your reporting. It's not that, bro.
Yeah, got it. You care more about you care more about
doing a good job because you
got it. I'm glad we agree on it at least. I'm glad we agree on it. Okay, move on. Next point.
Are you just gonna like? Should I now bring up the next point?
Well, I don't know. What the points are. Go ahead.
Or are you gonna go on more about like irrelevant?
And here, by the way, for if you don't know, we do have an automatic Fossabot timer usually. For breaking news, especially when it comes to like mass shootings, which includes the main mass shooting, which you claimed I was covering immediately or whatever.
Yeah, you covered the same day, didn't you?
I don't remember if I did, but if I did, it was specifically just the police. It was probably just whatever the police testimony was at the time. But here is the Fossabot from that day for the record. Get automatically timing out someone who is trying to bring this up.
Hasan does not cover breaking news due to the nature of unconfirmed and changing details soon after the event. Expect more coverage tomorrow. Unbelievable, bro. Oh, and he just didn't want to talk about what? He just didn't want to talk about the active shooter in Maine? Why? Wait, this wasn't the trans shooter or whatever, was it? Which particular shooting was this? That was the army guy? Oh, okay. Maybe. The US veteran, okay.
So
anyway.
Your chat's not allowed to talk about it, but you talk about it.
No, chat is talking about it so I can actually talk about it myself. And this was the day after. No, I actually didn't cover the main shooting at all that day, and I barely talked about that the next day, as a matter of fact.
Okay, fair enough then. I haven't watched those streams.
Okay. I don't think you watch a lot of the streams because if you did,
bro, you stream 8 hours a day every single day. I doubt anybody watches a lot of the streams except for your most diehard fans. Like, Destiny. Watch my link, he actually did cover it. Regarding that main shooting, he covered it the day after while the manhunt was ongoing. It wasn't an active shooting, but it was breaking news. Well, I mean, that's a little different now.
Where a lot of my analysis is coming from, and you wouldn't be fucking making erroneous claims
analysis,
like this.
You kind of do bro politics and just shoot from the hip.
I'm sorry. Okay, okay, got it. What kind of politics do you watch? Or what kind of politics do you actually engage with then?
I mean, is he trying to fish my name here? Or what is he, or is he trying to shit on whoever this guy watches? Or... It's so difficult to argue with MAGA conservatives mostly because they don't believe in science. They only mention science when it's convenient, and even then they misrepresent it. Sure.
I mean, I have a style that... Wait, I don't get it. I have a style that you don't like. Okay, the end. That doesn't...
Yeah, but it's you. The style is you being wrong about stuff. The style's about you doing wrong. Like, it's the same criticism. We're just going to talk in circle again. Dude, do you feel like you radicalize your audience when you get stuff wrong on these reporting? This sort of reporting?
Explain. I would love to hear what you mean by
So, like,
this.
for instance, like... you and Ethan on like Israel, right? He's 100% seems like he sympathizes with the Palestinians, right?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with
on
that.
stream. Yeah, all that good stuff.
Okay.
But then when he goes ahead and he's like saying stuff like, dude, your whole chat's calling me racist. Your whole chat's calling me a genocidal freak, right? Are you going to do anything about that? You don't. And the reason why they do that is because you sit
It's really interesting you said that. Do you think...
You won't... Let me finish.
Every single day up until that very moment... Every single day, up until that very moment, I told my community, if you actually did watch beyond the clips, you would know that every single day, since the Leftovers broadcast, including the immediate aftermath of the Leftovers broadcast, the first time we talked at the Leftovers, at the
Lauterbach says that, saying Hasan radicalizes his audience is a bit much. Do you agree? No, I don't agree. Hasan obviously radicalizes his audience. Everybody on this like far left spectrum is super radicalizing the f of their audience. I think so.
Studio, I told my community that Ethan is sympathetic to Palestinians and that he is not your enemy. To yell at him in this situation would be fucking fruitless, ridiculous. Plenty of people try to find drama.
The reason why your audience does it is because...
Hold on, you asked me what kind of community cultivation I engage in.
You didn't even know what I was going to ask because you cut me off.
Okay, go ahead.
That's what you did.
Okay, go ahead. I'm being very rude to my guest, by the way, but go on. I'm sorry, Felix.
Am I your guest? Who's your guest? All right, I was just saying, do you feel like you radicalize your audience because your audience calls Ethan racist, even though he's pro-Palestinian, right? And the reason why they do that is because whenever anybody just reports like a basic, a basic fact, like Israel likely didn't do the Gaza hospital bomb, right? Your response is to freak out and call that chatter genocidal and say that they hate all Arabs. So that's why they do. You feel like you're radicalizing them to do it. I mean, they do it for a reason.
Are you taking? Are you in your own assessment here taking things out of context over the course of an 8-hour broadcast where you think maybe
context? It's all in context.
No, you don't know the context.
You got to prove
because you can look at it because you can look at a fucking banning that is occurring on a stream and not recognize that banning is happening because it might be a sock account. That banning might be happening because someone is bad faith. That banning might be happening because I'm sorry. We're talking about how I cultivate my community and how I moderate my community. How the is me telling you how I moderate my community irrelevant? Everything, it seems, that goes against whatever narrative you want to frame is irrelevant in your opinion. So yeah, no wonder you want me to just watch the fucking YouTube video and sit in the goddamn shadows. Everything is irrelevant. You're asking me questions about how I operate. This is supposed to be a research. This is supposed to be a research, isn't it?
He mad.
Are you not supposed to be doing fucking research right now on your subject matter? So what's irrelevant?
You're asking, hold on. I just said, are you radicalizing your audience? And then you went on a rant about sock accounts. That's not relevant.
No, because I'm talking about how I cultivate and how I moderate my community. The entire conversation is within the framework of how I moderate my community. And what I told you is, you don't have any understanding of why I'm banning who, for what reason. You're just watching in small increments without recognizing that in a political...
be that way. It's not. I have entire streams downloaded. It's your whole stream.
Okay, that still doesn't matter because you don't know why we make moderation decisions. That's why you were wrong on the shooting in Maine. That's why you were wrong on the Maine shooting too, because you can't comprehend what is going on behind the fucking scene.
So Hasan is like strangleholding the narrative on these conversations. Jesus.
Why don't you ask me if I'm your subject matter here, which it seems you watch all the fucking streams, instead of making up your own mind about how these streams go.
Just change the subject.
What? I'm not changing the subject.
You radicalize your audience and Ethan's the example. Why are you going on about banning, why you ban people? And making it sound so complicated.
Do you think I'm radicalizing my community against Ethan when I told you time and time again that I have kept my community in check over and over again?
I have to repeat what I say for a third time because it's very straightforward.
Brother, you ask me questions, I answer. You don't like the answer because it goes against your narrative that you're trying to fulfill, and then you go, "Oh, it's irrelevant." It's not irrelevant.
I'm answering you about A, and you give me number 3. It's like completely a different fucking thing. I say, Hasan, let's do run, and you go, I swim. It's not relevant.
It is absolutely relevant. It's absolutely relevant. Do you not think that my moderation is what we're talking about? You literally brought up Ethan.
What we're talking about is you attack people that talk about the facts, right? Like you go ahead and you're like, you're a genocidal freak, blah, 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 blah. Or opinions. It could be facts or opinions, right? When it comes to...
Do you know how many people we ban on a daily basis?
What does this have to do with?
Because you're not asking a question. You're just like ranting. Go on. Sorry. I'm sorry. Give me your...
All right, I'll keep the question.
Any idea why Hasan decides to debate Willy Mac impromptu out of nowhere when he seems to never engage with anyone who disagrees? Remember, the Hasan... This is like important to realize. The Hasan style of dealing with criticism is generally... The Hasan style of dealing with criticism is generally... 20 fair criticisms in chat. You pick the most strawman, retarded chatter, and then you hone in on that, and then you spend the next 30 minutes pretending you're getting one guide, and everybody is making fun of Hasan, saying, oh, Hasan's getting one guide, Hasan's not getting one guide. It's super intentional what he does. What he does is he'll pick out the worst faith criticism that is applied to what he's saying, and he'll spend the next 30 minutes destroying that one person because it's obviously a stupid criticism, and he never will ever actually confront any of the valid or legitimate criticism about the way that he behaves. That is like modus operandi. That is exactly how he operates. So it's very intentional. I think the reason I said earlier, I think the reason why he's like looking to engage more with people outside now is because his audience has been kind of like dwindling over the past like couple years. I think now he's feeling the pressure more that he has to respond to people on the outside, but he's still engaging in the same sort of tactic, right? Okay, people are mad at me about my Israeli-Palestinian coverage. Okay, well, if you want to have a serious debate about this, let's talk to WillyMacShow from YouTube about it, right? So what he can do is, hold on, Destiny, you never do this. You can pretend that I don't, but like I talk to more people that criticize me on the internet than probably literally any other streamer that's even remotely close to my size. So like good meme, but like, bro, I brought on everybody from academics to other YouTubers, to other streamers, to other subscribers, to other orbiters that have permissions in my room, to like everybody else. Like you can meme and pretend it, but like you're retarded if you think it's like, do I read comments on my in my subreddit when the strawman voice on us? Yeah, sure, but
question short.
Yeah.
When you criticize chatters by calling them genocidal freaks for having opinions that really are pretty nuanced,
oh,
right?
But anyway, yeah, so Willy Mac was supposed to be just the bottom of the barrel guy. So what he could do is he could debate Willy Mac, and then afterwards, Hasan can say like, oh, people have accused me of being bad faith in my coverage, but I've already destroyed them. Look at my debate with Willy Mac. I annihilated him. He brought up the same 3 clips. That's the goal. That's like the purpose, I think, of this form of engagement.
Yeah.
When you criticize chatters by calling them genocidal freaks for having opinions that really are pretty nuanced, right? On a subject that is fairly nuanced, right? Why are you surprised, or you shouldn't be surprised that your chatters do that to Ethan? Like you're the one that radicalized them into doing that. They're doing it to Ethan because you do it to everybody else.
If my word is so gold that a chatter is repeating what I'm saying in a moment's notice, then why are they not repeating what I'm saying or hearing what I'm saying, as a matter of fact, when I tell them over and over again every single day since Ethan and I had our leftovers broadcast that Ethan is actually an anti-Zionist, that he's sympathetic to the Palestinian plight.
This is like so stupid. Hasan knows this isn't enough to control an audience. That if you tell somebody like, hey guys, this guy's my friend, and then you spend the next like 3 weeks like hardcore, hyper specifically shitting on like every single thing this guy says and believes. And remember, even on the even when Hasan was specifically talking to Ethan about what Ethan was saying, Hasan specifically said to Ethan, remember what he said? Hasan said, bro, what did he say? I wish I had the exact clip, but somebody can find the link to this timestamp. It's so illuminating. It's crazy. Hasan is like, you're saying the same thing that all the Nazis and crazy evil people say, and that's why they hate you. It's because you're saying the exact same things that all these far-right super... Does anybody have a link to that? Because I don't want to misquote that. It was a pretty insane statement, and I don't want to get it slightly wrong. If anybody has the link to that part of the convo, it was a wild statement for him to make. After Ethan had spent like an hour like looking for sympathy or support from Hasan. It was a wild statement.
Everybody that links my video, why don't you ban them for doing that to Ethan?
Wait, what? We literally had Ethan as a blocked word for straight up weeks at a time.
You also have Destiny as a blocked word. Why do you think that matters? Like, he knows none of this is important. He's just trying to win the debate now by hoping that Willy doesn't know how stream chats operate.
Yeah, but why not fix the problem?
Oh yeah, that. There's only so much I can do when you're making those types of arguments. Like, that is such an unhinged statement. Like, Ethan is just this genocidal fucking freak, and Hasan is like holding his fans at bay is like what he's pretending. Yeah.
The problem is they're calling him racist, not that
Wait. I just told you how I personally said time and time again, every single day, whenever a chatter tried to bring it up, whether they were drama farming or whether they were genuinely concerned with something that they misunderstood from Ethan's perspective. And even in that same conversation that I had with Ethan, that I believe that he's a very empathetic person, and that
some like mega autism poster made like a huge log of like all of the Ethan comments on my subreddit. This morning I saw the Destiny clips that uploaded a YouTube video called Destiny Finds Ethan's Most Unhinged Haters. Got me wondering if Destiny has seen this spreadsheet of Hasan's chat when he argued with Ethan the other day over Israel. Ethan was mentioned 9,000 times, and as you can imagine, a significant portion of the comments were truly wild. And then he made like I think he made a whole spreadsheet, and then I think he links to the original logs too if you want to verify shit so you don't get McAfee'd. But like, this genocide defending piece of shit, Ethan. Ethan is seriously a genocidal freak. This, I could think the guy, what did he just search for genocide? Hey Ethan, suck me from behind, you genocidal fuck. At Asanabi, so Hasan sees it. Ethan does never again mean genocide all Palestinians. Bad faith genocide apology from Ethan. Who would have thought? You literally base all your takes on what Israelis think. What? Yeah, Jesus Christ. But
I believe that he cares about Palestinian people. As my co-host, I said this time and time again. Okay, here's the question for you. Beyond that, what other mechanisms of control do you want me to bring forward?
Hasan is like asking, like, what is like a particular chat command that I can type into my chat to make them not believe all of the shit that I reinforce every single day when I spew bullshit at them, saying that everybody that even remotely empathizes with Israel is a genocide apologizer, right? Like, I love it's such an impossible question. It's such a stupid question for him to even try to ask somebody, but he's only relying on WillyMacShow not having like a comprehensive nuanced understanding of how the cultures of chats work. Oh, this was the clip for Hasan talking about Ethan.
By the way, I'm not even defending I'm not even like, I'm just trying to tell you guys how it feels. And I'm fucking shocked that you don't care that people in your chat are saying, who the is this child, cold, arrogant, as fuck.
I love you, but there's only so much I can do.
How can you be surprised when your Discord is literally full of fucking
Ethan, I love you, but there's only so much I can do if you're making that argument. You know that, right? Like, at a certain point, you're an adult, and the words that you're saying are going to be perceived by people in a certain way.
I like how he's acting like Ethan hasn't even said that much wild shit about this. Like, Ethan has never made like crazy out-of-pocket statements, or at least I haven't heard any. It's such an unbelievable thing for Hasan to say. Like, Ethan is literally out here being like, maybe we should genocide all the Palestinians, right?
Going to be perceived by people in a certain way. I can't constantly tell my community to shut the fuck up, like, which I have, and I think they should. But at the end of the day, it's because I know you personally, and I think your heart is in the right place. But they don't know, so it's hard. It's hard for people to view what you're saying beyond your words.
I'm just telling you the perspective. You disagree. That's it. I mean, what the fuck do you want from me?
Okay. But do you get where I'm coming?
It's such a wild characterization. Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry, okay. 10 minutes out of this.
Or are you just engaging in bad faith? Because I do. And
true. This is a good juxtaposition. Fuck, we don't have to watch this, but
I thought for the past year
especially since like the gambling debate that we had, you, me, Trainwrecks, and Ethan, that you were just allowing that shit to run rampant in your chat, and I thought that was fucked.
Chat, guys, this is what a debate max win looks like. Okay, fuck it, I'm gonna say okay. We're already on to fucking Gamma Talk. I'm gonna fuck it. This is a argumentative max. Boom, max, dude.
Especially as someone who thought we were fucking friends. I think that's. I did. Yes, I did. I told my own moderators, because you don't know this. Again, after Ethan saw
your moderators are the one doing it, by the way. Like your mods are.
Yeah, I went back and looked at what they had said as well. By the way, for the record, I know that you said this.
Okay.
I love that.
Oh, so you did watch my video.
No, I know that.
Oh no!
What do you mean? No, I didn't watch your video at all. Why are you getting so excited? I'm saying
you just mentioned something. You said you saw
okay,
that.
my bad. I misspoke. I apologize. This is something that every single person has brought up in this.
He misspoke by quoting a part of the video at him. Debate file alert engaged. Debate file alert engaged. What?
Situation, including Ethan, even brought up. Okay. Jesus Christ, you got excited. Okay. Anyway.
No, I was pumped because I thought you were a secret Willy Mac fan.
No, I did not watch your video, and I most likely won't watch your videos. But anyway, listen. First of all, I'm not a journalist. I've never said I'm a journalist. When I talk about
you do reports from the ground, bro. That's what you said.
Wait, when I said I do reports from the ground, where is that from? Do you have a clip?
Yeah, it's before. It's why you said you wouldn't go on Piers Morgan.
Can you send me the clip? Because I think it's probably a miscommunication. Like,
wait, why does Hasan want a clip now, but he didn't want any of the clips or anything earlier? He just wanted it to be said to him.
I've never said I do on-the-ground reporting. If I said that, I probably misspoke.
I mean, it's more me being facetious, but if you want to watch it, we can watch it. Let's do it.
Oh, so you're admitting that you are lying and saying that I'm an on-the-ground reporter.
You just sit in your fucking house. Everybody knows you don't actually report from the ground.
You should have said mansion.
Yeah, which is why I would never say that. So I don't know why.
You did say that though. That's what's funny.
I probably was talking about how I work with on-the-ground reporters.
Who the fuck do you work with for on-the-ground report? What the fuck are you talking about? Like what? We've got Reuters Hasanabi network over here. What the f?
I don't personally engage in on-the-ground reporting, so it probably was a moment where I misspoke. I mean, me going live and giving you 10 hours of on-the-ground, 10 hours of reporting from the ground at a critical moment, at a critical time, versus not going live that day just so I can go on Piers Morgan and fucking yell at him. I think it's selfish of me to take the Piers Morgan route.
This from the ground.
I've never said that I do on-the-ground reporting.
Yeah, I know. No, everyone knows you don't actually do on-the-ground reporting.
Wait, so why did you bring that up then?
I was just giving shit.
Wait, oh so no, Willy couldn't find the clip in time.
I don't understand. So where is your supposedly quote-unquote journalistic integrity in this situation? So it's like... So
I mean, it's a video that's also entertaining, so sometimes I'm just making fun of you, and other times... It is actually a serious allegation.
All right, got it.
Yeah, I mean, you make jokes on stream. I mean,
yeah, I do. Which then you apparently, or if I misspeak, apparently you fucking use it in your commentary as though it's like super serious. So anyway,
I didn't name one example that I did.
I don't know. I don't watch your videos, so
yeah. So don't make shit up. Here's a classic example.
Don't make shit up. You just said I fucking say I'm reporting on the ground when we both know I didn't. And also on top of that, you literally started the conversation by saying you never apologized for being wrong about Russia invading Ukraine.
You usually double down or shift the goalpost is what you do.
That's. What? That's not true. I literally said.
That's just what we talked about for the last hour, bro.
None of this was shifting the goalposts. You just don't like it. That's it. You want me to be wrong. That's it. You don't want. You want me to be wrong. That's why you keep saying you shift the goalposts.
The question I asked you was, do you feel like your audience acts that way towards Ethan because you act like that towards everybody else? And you just go on about moderation.
Okay, if my audience is acting that way towards Ethan, okay. But
you feel like
my audience, so they're getting their points from me. They're getting their anger from me. So why don't they hear me out when I talk about how Ethan is not someone that you should be yelling at all?
Having a different position has to be genocidal.
Oh, got it. So like they don't listen. So they don't listen to one thing. They listen to whatever favors your perspective in this matter, but they don't listen to the other thing when it doesn't favor you. Got it. So you get to pick and choose on what I get to do, or maybe let's be real. You're completely.
I like how you're saying that so crazy. Like, oh, so you're saying they listen to me when I call people that say this particular line, genocide apologists, like 10 hours a day, but they don't listen to me when I say, hey, leave my friend alone a few times. You're saying that they listen to one more than the other? Yeah, no shit, Sherlock fucking Holmes.
As to how much I've talked to my own community about not fucking yelling at Ethan and about how he's a good person, how he's an empathetic person, how he's a kind person, and he truly cares about Palestinian people. Maybe that has some...
You were kind of...
It doesn't go along with your narrative. My point is this.
From what I've seen, you were kind of bad faith in your debate with him. It wasn't exactly like a very nice debate you had.
God.
I can't wait to go watch it. I'm going to go find out myself.
Okay. Well, have fun watching it. This was the most unproductive...
I know, because you're mad I disagree with
Piker Pile equals listing random unrelated facts in an attempt to avoid answering a question.
And you're mad that
No, I'm not mad that you disagree with me. Plenty of people disagree with me. I yell at my chat every day, dumbass. There are people who disagree with me that have been in here for 5 years. Shut the up. No, that's not true. There's a difference between disagreements. There's a difference between disagreements and someone who's just trying to cut drama as hard as they can. You don't know anything about Israel or Palestine. You don't give a shit about Israel or Palestine. You're just trying to fucking make money by cutting drama, which you've shown. What you're interested in. You spread a ton of misinformation, and you also literally refuse to hear the additional context behind it. You refuse to hear the additional context behind it, and you just sit there and you say, Hasan, you must not be talking to open source intelligence community people. You must not be talking to actual journalists on the ground or literally actual forensic analysts that are working at Washington Post, New York Times, and the like. You must just simply be making this up. When I tell you, as I am the source matter here, right?
Here's the genocidal scum clip.
Change title? IDF didn't bomb the hospital? Yes, it did! Yes, it did! Yes, it f***ing did! You piece of Yes, it absolutely did. You. You genocidal scumbag. You have no f***ing dignity. You do not have an ounce of dignity inside of your soul. But it doesn't matter. Terrible that the people died, but I encourage you to look into where Hamas was firing. You f***ing piece of shit. You garbage, monstrous scumbag. You garbage, monstrous scumbag. You said IDF didn't bomb the hospital, and then you said it did. But Hamas was firing rockets from it in the same...
Len, look at how performative this is. Look at how performative this is. Also, can somebody please help me, okay? Somebody please help me on this, okay? I'm at 85% that Hasan crocodile teared when he was talking about that journalist getting shot and then the funeral getting shot by the IDF, that story, which I'm still not even sure is true or not to this point. Was there an actual video of that? Or was Hasan crying, recollecting something that he simply read a story about? Was there a video of this that he watched, or...
2-minute time frame. So why did you fucking lie?
There was a video? Okay, just making sure.
At first. Huh? Why did you lie?
Jesus.
How can you live with yourself, you genocidal piece of shit? How? Why did you do that?
Jesus
Why did you say IDF didn't bomb the hospital and then immediately retaliated to, well, I guess they did, but because Hamas was firing rockets.
This guy is not lying, bro. He's...
the subject matter here. If I'm the subject matter of your commentary, I'm giving you what I do, what my process is. And instead of going, okay, maybe I misunderstood how this works, you've turned around and tried to yell about all this shit. I've tried to show you that the circumstantial evidence presented at the time and still to this day greatly favors that this was most likely another Israeli munition. Okay, I said this, but you don't give a shit because you don't care about the truth. You just care about stirring shit. It doesn't matter if I say 100%. Okay, on the same day, in the immediate moment after that, I have said
the immediate moment after that.
Oh my fucking Lord, dude! On the same exact coverage, of the bombing of this hospital, regardless of the actual, regardless of how overwhelming the evidence was that this was yet another Israeli bombing campaign. Which, by the way,
there really wasn't that much evidence, dude. All the evidence.
Yes, it was.
All the people reporting on it.
Okay. No. We can't have this conversation then. If you legitimately think that there isn't enough circumstantial evidence that all pointed to Israel literally bombing the same vicinity, Israel bombing the hospital 2 days prior, if you think that is not enough evidence that Israel was bombing the hospital again, including the fucking doctors, including the doctor. Wait, what?
Not 100%. I don't think.
Including the. Okay, 90%. I still think it's 90% that it's Israel.
Yeah,
so how about that?
How can he still think it's 90%?
Oh, so that's the difference. So that's the difference. I didn't say 90%. My bad, brother. Sorry.
No,
next time I'll say, guys, it's 90% Israel.
You still claim it. You still double down and say the exact same thing.
Because of the evidence that I have presented. Every single point of evidence that Israel presented was discredited.
Why even bother if you're going to watch 30 seconds in hyperspeed no context? Give me one timestamp. Okay, if you want me to watch this Muhammad hijab, whatever the fuck, okay, give me one video with one timestamp where he begins to say something that's like insightful or novel, and it's not just the same copy-pasted Hamas apologia that every single pro-Palestinian person seems to be incapable of diverting from whenever they're talking about the issue, okay? If you can find me, give me a video title. I know you can link in King Chat. Give me a video title, okay? And then give me a timestamp, and I'll listen for a few minutes, and I'll see if I can hear anything insightful whatsoever, okay? Because at this point, I can argue the pro-Palestinian side better than 99% of these retards that go on these shows, okay? I'm so tired of hearing the same four talking points. 97% in potable water. 50% of children are food insecure. 6,000 bombs dropped in 2 days. More children killed in the past month than have been killed in the past 4 years of conflict. Open air prison, apartheid, genocide. Like, I'm tired of hearing the same fucking retarded talking points over and 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 over again, okay? If he says anything insightful or novel or whatever, then link me a timestamp in a video and we'll go and watch it, okay?
Instantaneously, the only fucking evidence...
The only guy that I've seen talk, and I disagree with his historical facts, the only guy that I've seen talk on this that seemed like relatively reasonable was the comedian guy to Piers Morgan, but maybe it was just because he didn't come off as like hyper condescending, smug, argumentative, why I was a little bit more amenable to his conversation. Because even at that, I still was disagreeing with some of the things he was saying, but at least he didn't come off as like an insane, fucking unhinged, crazy dude. Bassem Youssef? Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
We have is the circumstantial evidence. I said all of these on the same fucking day of the coverage, okay? I said all of the evidence is circumstantial, but of course circumstantial evidence overwhelmingly says that this was yet another Israeli bombing campaign. We looked through the same... We looked at... There wasn't that much. There wasn't any evidence? There was no evidence.
I mean, there was circumstantial, but you think that's enough to go off of when it's breaking news and they're going to...
Well, it's kind of crazy that you say that because I did mention that it was circumstantial at the time and that it was overwhelmingly... So you do agree with...
The same day of the hospital rocket, Hasan said something to the effect of, watch how tomorrow the narratives change and they'll blame Hamas. That's how he still believes it was Israel. Wait, if you've got a link to that quote, that would be a pretty wild quote. If you actually have a link to something like that.
Got it. Okay, so circumstantial evidence overwhelmingly favors that this is Israel. Got it, which was my commentary on the time. So now we've proven that you fucking found a 2 minute segment on the day of to clip and go, this is what Hasan said. He's clearly in the wrong. He's so stupid.
And catch you in the slide, right? I could just like do it. It's gonna be like really. It's gonna happen. I mean, what can I do here?
What do you mean?
I'm just gonna go watch the broadcast and show you lying.
Okay, go ahead. That's great. Watch the broadcast. You're most likely going to do the exact same thing that you've done thus far, which is over the course of an 8-hour broadcast, you're gonna find
any pro-Palestinian intellectual you actually respect. I haven't seen a single one so far. No. No, I haven't seen a single one so far. Maybe they're out there and I just haven't gotten to their content yet. That's possible. Maybe.
Another fucking moment to be like, see? He read the chat.
How do you know
did this. He did that.
Does loner box? I'm talking about like people that have shown up like in the media, like these big figures or whatever. That's what I'm talking about.
There is over the course of an 8-hour
you right now
broadcast.
Is the same thing you always do. I'm just saying.
No,
like this, you're doing it in real time.
You always
you're doing it in real time, bro.
Over the course of an 8-hour broadcast, if you look to literally 3 moments, you can find me.
You can find as much as you, dude. That does 8-hour broadcasts.
Because no one has the most psychopathic fucking fandom like idiots like you who fucking sit.
Can you define pro-Palestinian here? I assume you mean one-state Palestine people who are currently highly vocal. Here's what I mean. This is what I have never seen any pro-Palestinian person doing, okay? This would be, and maybe I'm a fucking Zionist, okay? Maybe these $7 million Mossad paychecks that I get every month, otherwise they're gonna kill my family. Maybe that's why I'm saying things like that, okay? This is in my opinion, what a good pro-Palestinian position or argument would look like, okay? It would look something like this, okay? When you lock people into open-air prisons or whatever, okay, for 20 years, a lot of people have been raised, these are the only conditions they know, it is like understandable that terrorist activities would come from these people. Obviously, it is horrible to kill civilians. You should never do that. But a lot of the people that are caught up in this back and forth war have never even had like a real country to themselves. They don't have the ability to, leave this particular area, or getting out requires a fuck ton of money. There's a way to talk about like the conditions that they live in and say that this is horrible and it produces a certain type of violence without this like weird double speak around like criticizing Hamas. If you are pro-Palestinian and you cannot find it in your heart for some reason to criticize Hamas, then f you. Because, and it could be, I could be wrong, but it feels like it's really easy to get a whole bunch of Israeli people to say, yeah, Netanyahu, f that guy. Netanyahu, too far right. Netanyahu, no good. Warmonger, hawkish, whatever, blah, 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 blah. That's really easy to find. It seems, at least, it's pretty easy to find Jews or Israeli citizens that say that. It seems like it's impossible to find people to go like, yeah, Hamas, bad. Not good. Killing civilians, bad. Not good. But for some reason, they do this thing where they try to equate these two sides, and they're not equal. But
through every minutia to find a clippable moment, to find a clippable moment to be like, he sucks, he's bad. That's the reason, dickhead. All right. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm being rude to my guest. I can't believe I fucking I made Felix sit through this. I can't believe I made Felix sit through this. Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, my guest has a question for you.
All right, let's
go ahead.
Don't you think it's weird how like Anne Hathaway like isn't Jewish? I just found that out like last year.
I don't know, bro.
Doesn't she like kind of like look like Jewish? I
wrote a book, may release this month or next. Is it cool if a character based on you being included in the book? I mean, I can't stop you.
Thought that. I was like, let's go. That's one of ours. But apparently she isn't. She's
Are
like
you
the
Jewish?
opposite. Yeah.
Nice. Shalom.
Are you?
No, I'm not.
I was about to say Willy Mac.
I'm just
that
a Midwest
name isn't in the Bible.
Yeah. All right, take it easy, man.
Phil, do you have any questions for Willy Mac?
That was the question.
That's it?
Yeah.
No,
I just found out about the Anne Hathaway thing like this year.
It's breaking news. I'm sure Hasan's looking good.
Willy Mac, thank you so much for your ethics in video game journalism or your ethics in conflict reporting.
Thanks for coping by
I'm
just
sure.
saying stuff out of context
Okay, yeah, you got me, dude. You know me. Okay, thanks for coping. He says. All right, Jesus Christ.
The unfortunate truth is that nobody actually cares about the Palestinians. Not that lunatic Netanyahu, definitely not Hamas, absolutely not the people. Yeah, no, I know. Like anybody that talks about a one-state solution doesn't give a f about Palestinians. They just like are engulfed with like hatred for really the United States. But Jesus.
I'm going to give you correct information, and sometimes my analysis off of that, my analysis will usually be sound. However, I might get something wrong. In most circumstances, I don't, and that's precisely the reason why these guys, after 2,000, 3,000 hours of footage, can only basically find 3 separate instances that they hammer over and over again. Think about that for a second. I've been covering breaking news / news in general and offering political commentary on it because I'm not a fucking journalist. I'm a Twitch streamer for 5 years now.
Why would you say that? Hasn't he been insisting this whole time that he doesn't cover breaking news?
Who is live reacting to the news and trying to make sense of everything as it's ongoing. I usually have a policy of not covering breaking news, and sometimes that policy is violated. But
find 3 separate instances that they hammer over and over again. Think about that for a second. I've been covering breaking news / news in general and offering political commentary on it because I'm not a fucking journalist. I'm a Twitch streamer for 5 years now, nonstop. But specifically doing it full time every fucking day since 2020. I'm going to give you correct information, and sometimes my analysis off of that, my analysis will usually be sound. However, I might get something wrong in most circumstances.
Okay. Okay. Reality can be whatever I want it to be. Where's that stone?